Hey everybody, what's going on? It is your boy, the Cannonball, Alex Steele. We are here for an exclusive preview of the Outside Blitz. We're just getting some stuff set up in the background. We have a pretty great show for you today. We have, we got our games, we got our scores, we have our. We have scores, we have highlights, we have opinions, and we got news and notes, we got injuries, and this week we are going to be going through spots 46 through 41 of the NFL Top 100. And obviously, the boys are going to pick them for week 4, just in time for tonight's matchup against with the Arizona Cardinals versus the Seattle Seahawks. I do believe that it is at Arizona, and kickoff starts at 8:15 p.m. on Amazon Prime Video. So so sit back and relax, get your bowl of popcorn. Just as I open the live stream to greet all of you one-on-one here, the email came in saying that the video call is about to happen. So please do not pay attention to the screen, or I guess do, but I'm just going to be setting up a couple things in the background, and then we will prepare for the launch of week 4 of the NFL season, the September 25th, 2025 episode of the Outside Blitz. Stay tuned, kids. All right, ladies and gentlemen, just giving you a quick update here on Twitch and YouTube. The Bootleg Bettor and the fabulous Scotty Fraytown are in the wings, finalizing our notes and getting ready for the latest episode. Sound off in the comments. What questions do you have about the season? Talk about your favorite teams. What are your predictions, for week 4, for the season? Feel free to comment on Twitch, comment on YouTube during the course of the podcast, and tell your friends, telephone, telegram, tell a wrestler, and don't forget to us, if you're going to stick around to the end of the show, get a listen to our sponsors. This podcast is supported by many independent businesses, in the Metro Detroit area and on the internet. So this, without these people's support, it'd be a little more difficult. You got It's Your Time Massage, you got Face Kicked Apparel, you got Patched Miracle Photography, the hardest working photographers in the Metro Detroit area. You also have No Shot Bot TTV, our partner here on, not a partner, but he's a big supporter not only of the Outside Blitz, but of my channel, Steel Twins Gaming. And we here at Steel Twins Gaming are a very proud partner and, brother channel to the Outside Blitz. And last but not least, I'd be remiss if I did not mention a wonderful book by a wonderful author, Tammy Pruitt, I Ate Cookies Out of the Trash. Available only online, Amazon, Apple Books, or wherever you go to your .coms to get your books. So sit tight, get a bag of popcorn. We are almost just about ready to hit the go button. So, yeah, hang in there, kids. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Outside Blitz. And now, here are your hosts, the fabulous Scotty Fraytown, the Bootleg Bettor, and the Cannonball, Alex Steele.
And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Outside Blitz. I'm your host, the fabulous one, Scotty Fraytown, along with my co-host, the Cannonball, Alex Steele, first and foremost up in Traverse City, joining us from Steel Twin Studio. Alex, what's going on, man?
I'm in a real good mood. Thanks for asking, because as you'll hear in scores in our scores updates, Lions are not who we thought they were.
Apparently not, and I mean, they are who the Bootleg Bettor thought they would be. Boots, welcome back to the show. How's everything going?
Yes, sir. Hey, what up, Tyler?
In Baltimore, they quote the Raven, nevermore will Henry fumble. It almost looked like he played for the Cincinnati Bungles. They don't know where they're going, said no to directions. They should have called Mr. Hughes for total protection. Drake maybe, probably, I'm still certain. Pittsburgh wouldn't let him peek through the steel curtain. Cleveland kept working when they got knocked down. Tell Jordan ain't no love in the dog pound. Still got the juice, Fraytown, count G's. I'm the Bootleg Bettor, 'twas God that made me.
Whoa!
Oh!
We in the books.
Week 3 is in the books. We've got a ton of games to go over here.
I got a queen, you just a rook.
Oh, boy.
Oh, man.
Boots is fired up, red hot. Fired up, red
Don't
hot.
let me drop the hammer. I'm dodging all the haters like I'm bicycle hammer. Come on, man, let's go.
Let's go. Well, folks, we got scores around the league. We got some of our NFL Top 100 we're going to be covering today, so I'm excited about that. We've got some news and notes to jump over. And then starting next week, we will officially be starting the rookie rankings that we do. Usually about week 4, we'll be doing the rookie rankings, so we'll be jumping into those based on our rookie performances. And obviously, those are a fluctuating week-to-week thing, so it's a good time. So we're going to have fun with those. But, guys, let's jump into these scores real quick. Are you ready?
Let's go. Gotta do that.
I heard Alex talking about all of our athletic supporters.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, our athletic supporters.
That was a depth charge. It took a minute.
Yeah. Oh, my Lord.
Yes, sir.
Unreal. But let's jump into these scores. Here are our scores for week 3 in the NFL, starting out with the Bills and the Dolphins. Wow. The Bills go out and beat the Dolphins. This one was actually a lot closer than I thought it was going to be for a while. I don't know how it was as close as it was either. It's not like the Dolphins played killer football here, but, I mean, somehow they just lingered, and the Bills let them linger. I don't know how. Tua Tagovailoa was only 22 for 34, 146, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Yeah, Devin 12 carries for 62 yards. Ollie Gordon, the rookie, he gets into the end zone, 9 carries for 38 yards. He actually had a 4.2 average on the day, which isn't bad. Tyreek Hill, 5 receptions for 49 yards and a TD. It's about time. Jalen Waddle, 5 receptions for 39 and a touchdown. And you know what's interesting? Jalen Waddle was actually playing a little hurt in that game. As for the Bills, Josh Allen and company. Josh Allen, 22 for 28, very accurate on the day. 213, 3 touchdowns for him. James Cook goes off again. 19 carries, 108, a 5.7 average. He had a touchdown on the day. Hey, Dalton Kincaid did something. 5 receptions for 66 yards and a touchdown. We're going to have to sprinkle rock salt on all the places hell just froze over. Khalil Shakir, 4 receptions for 45 and a touchdown. And also Jackson Hawes, the rookie, he gets into the end zone as well. Hey, good for you. But the Bills, they pull this one out 31-21. The Bills advance to 3-0. Just an interesting game just to see how the Dolphins continued to fight. You know, it wasn't an amazing fight, but they surely let the Dolphins linger in this game, did they not?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Dolphins treaded water for a while. The thing was, the interception at the end of the game really kind of the end of the line for the Dolphins. The thing is, you've got, again, it's a short week. It's a divisional opponent.
Yes.
You know what and Miami was selling out to win the game, right? It's not like they were just, hey, we're just here. No, they were selling out to trying to win the game because you got Mike McDaniel on that hot seat. It's getting warm in Miami, Jack.
Yeah, they're saying that it's good. They're going to be patient with Mike McDaniel. I don't know how patient you can be. I mean,
You've already had a patient. Tua Tagovailoa. all those
head problems.
All that trauma he's been suffering. He's a patient.
He's a no
He's
shit.
hero in freaking Miami.
Golly, if you want to see a patient, you can. Yeah, I mean, just take a look at all the concussions that poor guy has suffered.
But damn, protect the dude.
Yeah, well, they didn't. I mean, that's the problem, and that seems to be an ongoing theme. They just don't like protecting the man. But he escaped here unscathed. So that's a positive thing, I guess. But the Finns, again, they're 0-3 now after all this. All the hoopla, right? Mike McDaniel, he's going to turn this offense around. We saw that high-powered offense within the last, right at the end of last year, right up until this year, you got to see that offense turn into just a pumpkin. It's not the same offense, even though you have all the same stars. It's like all those deep passes to Tyreek and all those deep balls to, that air raid offense, that high-powered, super exciting, greatest show on turf type of offense is just gone. And I don't understand why they're taking a guy like Tyreek Hill, who's faster than hell, and you got him running curls. I said that last week. Why do you have him doing that? He's faster than hell. Run him down the field on a 9 route. Let him outrun people. They call him the cheetah for a reason.
Yeah, that's what they were doing early.
Yeah,
in the when Hill first got there, but the offense has kind of morphed and moved. The run game isn't present all the time. And you need that, especially in NFL, you need that run game to be able to set up, especially some play action. Right?
Yeah.
But Miami, they're not running the ball very well, so they're just throwing it. And, I mean, they've got the tools to do so. Problem is, they're not winning.
Yeah. Well, and it's real tough to run the ball when your offensive line stinks.
Too.
I mean, David Ashan, last year he was a problem. You see him running the football. He was, just an enigma, and now it's like you're getting nothing out of the guy.
Had a really good year last year.
Yeah, and now it just seems like he's non-existent. I don't get it. I don't understand the logic. It just doesn't make sense to me. Alex, am I missing something here?
I don't think so. And really, the writing's kind of on the wall here for the Miami Dolphins. We talked about it, how first and foremost, I will also echo sentiments. I did not have this score on my bingo card. Clearly, it's not like the defense was stepping up. They only sacked Josh Allen twice. Even a blind squirrel will find a nut every once in a while. And then none of these guys on the offense have, world-breaking statistics. So I'm starting to think that, due to Josh Allen's pedestrian numbers and the fact that, James Cook was the name of the game. James Cook was running the ball like his life depended on it. He only had 19 carries. So I think the Bills underestimated the Dolphins, and kind of like they kept their foot off the gas because they knew they would beat them eventually. They're toying with them. They're like playing with their food, and having a mentality like that in a division game, especially when it comes on later in the season, that might come and bite you in the rear end.
Yeah, I think knowing that this Miami team isn't good, I think the Bills were just like, all right, let's toy with them a little bit, and that's kind of what they did here. I think you're right. I think they underestimated them a little too much to make this game seem a lot closer than it really should have been. But ultimately, the Bills walk out 3-0. A really nice game. Next up, a little surprise one here: the Minnesota Vikings. My Vikings go out and beat the ever-living brakes off of the Cincinnati Bengals, 48-10. Yeah, I didn't have this. You want to talk about games you didn't have on your bingo card? Here we go. Even Max Brosmer wound up on the field for this one. Carson Wentz, 14 for 20, 173 yards, 2 touchdowns, did not throw a pick in the game. He played mistake-free football. Jordan Mason, 16 carries, 116 yards. This man had a 7.2 average on the day, 2 touchdowns. Justin Jefferson, 5 for 75. T.J. Hawkinson comes alive, finally. 5 receptions, 49 yards, and a touchdown. Jalen Naylor, 3 for 37. Xavier Scott had 1 for 20, and Josh Oliver had 1 for 12. If you take a look, Adam Thielen, 0. Another one, just blanked. I don't understand what the hell's going on, and I think it's time to say he's washed.
Wentz tossed one to Thielen.
He dropped
but
it.
There you go.
He straight dropped it.
Yeah,
It was terrible. And then for the Bengals, Jake Browning, 19 for 27, 140 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, including a pick 6. We'll talk about that man very shortly here. The leading rusher, interestingly enough, was Samaje Perine with 4 carries for 21 yards and a 5.2 average. He wound up getting hurt in this game, though. So you're going to wind up seeing Taj Brooks as the backup to Chase Brown. But Chase Brown was so inefficient. 10 carries for 3 yards. Just terrible. But we talk about bad offensive line play. That's what you're going to get, regardless of who the running back is. Jamar Chase had 5 receptions for 50 yards. Noah Fant, 5 for 26. Drew Sample was the only one that got in the end zone in garbage time. It was 2 receptions for 20 yards and a touchdown. Chase Brown did have 4 for 17, and then T. Higgins just 1 for 15. The Vikings defense played lights out in this game. They were incredible.
That was the story.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with Vikings offense because the offense was efficient.
I thought Jordan Mason was
Yeah.
he was pretty spectacular. But,
but come on. First off, it's Bengal defense.
Yeah.
Second of all, like I say, the Vikings, they didn't have to do much.
No.
Like the Bengals it looked like the Bengals were done about midway through the second quarter.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And matter of fact, they were so done that the broadcast switched over.
Yeah, they moved over to the Texans game.
Yeah, because this was over,
Yeah.
right? When the TV network says it's over, it's over,
Yeah,
right?
it was way done.
And it was all about the defense. It was all when I talked about Jake Browning last week, I said, he's right?
Yeah.
But against this team, against this defense on the road with that offensive line, and now with who was back, Van Ginkel, he was back, right? So you add that player to it. Flores, not wanting to see the Bengals do anything, right? And so he was sending them. And what did I put in the group chat? The text. I sent a text about a certain player who was going to be NFC defensive player of the week.
What is it, Isaiah Rodgers?
That's right. And he certainly was.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and he had every reason to be.
Yes, sir.
Isaiah Rodgers, he caused 2 fumbles in this game, both of which were turnovers. They were both recovered by the Vikings.
Yeah.
One of which,
to the house.
He took the scoop and score to the house, and he got a pick 6 that he took back to the house. And by the way, you talk about guys that were returning, and the man that got a hand on that ball, Harrison Smith, got a hand on that ball that Rodgers wound up picking off. He's the one that knocked it out, basically toward him. But the other thing I want to make a point about when it comes to Harrison Smith, there was a moment in this game, and I noticed it, and I don't know if you noticed it. Ivan Pace is lining up on the line, and Harrison Smith comes up to him and yanks him over about a yard. He was like basically right into the A gap, and basically says, "Stay there.
Right.
I'll take the left tackle." And he blitzes the left tackle, leaves Ivan Pace right there in the A gap, making a tackle for a loss. I mean, just bam. You see that veteran leadership, and those guys that were missing. You got to see that. You got to see that out of Andrew Van Ginkel. Van Ginks being back, he almost had one of those pick 6. Those pick 6s usually get tossed out into the flat. You see him make a play on them.
Yeah,
he almost had one of those. That defense was killer. And the Vikings, they're going to be in a little bit of trouble here now. The outside linebacker, we just got done talking about Van Ginkel. He's dealing with a little neck problem right now. They call it a residual neck issue. So he didn't practice so far. So we're going to be kind of keeping an eye on that. They also have a problem with their first-round offensive guard, Donovan Jackson. He's set to miss some time. He underwent wrist surgery. Blake Brandle's set to draw the start. So we could see that be a thing. But it's sounding like Ryan Kelly's going to make his way back onto the field to play center for the Vikings this upcoming week. So
need him for Cam Hayward.
Oh, yeah, they're going to need him, every bit of him. That's going to be pretty problematic if you don't have that interior on the field. But this Vikings team, they really tore it down this week. Carson Wentz, I'm not going to sit here and say it was some world-beating performance. But he made
a couple of good throws.
Yeah, he made good throws. He got the ball out quick. He played mistake-free football. He got the 2 touchdowns thrown, one of which basically to the tight ends. He got one to Hawkinson, one to Oliver. I mean, he was he was seeing the field correctly, and also getting Christian Darrisaw back on the field for them was huge because you didn't have, and that's what opened up TJ Hawkinson, because you didn't have to line up Hawkinson next to Darrisaw. It allowed those running lanes to get open up. Every time Jordan Mason ran the ball, it seemed like it was going right between, the left and right, left tackle and left guard. It was a pretty welcome sight to see Christian Darrisaw back on that line. Even if he was like at 90-95%, he's not fully healthy. Yeah. He still was a huge improvement from Steele, who is just terrible. Alex, did you like what you saw out of this Vikings team?
I did. And I will say that, again, the name of the game was defense. I mean, straight up. The numbers say it. I didn't get an opportunity to watch the game, unfortunately, but I did follow up with it, throughout the day. And I was going, oh my gosh, this is, we didn't expect the Bengals to do too much because Joe Burrow went down. I mean, you got Jake Browning starting, for crying out loud, but, he should at least get you through a couple games. But, a drumming of this magnitude, I mean, it's beyond the pale, Now the challenge now is you're going to have to, they're going to have to get on the Jets, and they're going to have to, go over the pond, because they have 2 in a row, 2 weeks of European games. They got the game against the Steelers, which I believe it's one of them's in Ireland, one of them's in Germany. I don't know which is which offhand.
The Steelers are in Ireland, and then the Browns are in Germany.
Yeah, so so there's going to be a lot of traveling these next 2 weeks. So I'd be very interested to see how this Vikings team will react to this challenge. Is the jet lag going to get to them? Granted, your second opponent's the Browns. I mean,
And also, with the second opponent being the Browns, the Vikings will already be over there. The Browns are going to have to follow because the Browns play in the States, this week. So, the Vikings are going to be playing at 9:30 over in Ireland. They're already going to be in that time zone, right? Dealing with, they're already going to have dealt with it. Yeah. So, and the play also, and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention a couple of these guys. The play of Eric Wilson in the really as a replacement middle linebacker, right? He's been amazing, by the way. I haven't seen Eric Wilson play this well in a long, long time. It seems like he's a great fit for this defense. I love seeing him on the field recently. Josh Metellus getting an interception in this game. He was playing all over the place. They had the 3 safety looks going, but there were moments where Josh Metellus was out there playing corner, and he did well. He got a pick. I mean, that was great. And also, the last guy I want to mention on this game, let's talk about Will the Thrill. Will Reichard bombs a franchise record 62-yard field goal in this game. He goes 2 for 2, and he made all of his extra points. Will Reichard has been awesome from 50 yards out. Oh, yeah. And he doesn't get a ton of opportunities the way this team plays when it comes to field goals and such. But he played great. He played great. He kicked the ball well. I mean, I didn't think the 62-yarder was going to go in. It's got this little waggle to it as it comes out, but then it inched its way into the goalpost.
And perhaps it caught an updraft on the way over.
Yeah. And then seeing the ovation when Max Brosber, the University of Minnesota kid, came out on the field for the fourth quarter, seeing the ovation that he got, that was cool too. That was an experience. But the Vikings, they go out and dominate the Bengals. I think the Bengals are a sinking ship.
I think they're a sunk ship.
Yeah. Don't know where they're going. They know the direction. Should have called Mr. Hughes for total protection.
They're done.
And my question here is, how long is Joe Burrow out? We know that he's got. We know he has a toe injury. Obviously, he sat this game out.
At least they said 3 months.
Oh, 3 months
because it's a grade 3 turf toe that requires surgery, which is basically ligament damage in your foot. And I mean, look, if you're out for 3 months, And
December, bro.
Yeah. At that point, it's a waste of time.
And when are you coming back? And will you be the same? The physical rehabilitation, all that. Yeah, no.
I got some bad news. I got more bad news for Bengals fans. If Joe Burrow does come back in December, here's the December lineup: Bills, Ravens, Dolphins, and Cardinals.
Oh boy.
I mean, you're coming back after 3 months off, and your first opponent is Buffalo in Buffalo in the winter.
That's a disaster.
Yeah.
Disaster.
Fantasy managers of Joe Burrow have to be suffering a little bit of what we like to call buyer's remorse.
Yeah, I agree with that. He's not having him out there is going to be painful. Let's jump into this next one. The Jags go out and beat the Houston Texans 17-10.
Talk about painful.
Yeah, right. First of all, the Jags, Trevor Lawrence, only 20 for 40 in this game for 222 yards and a pick. Travis Etienne, 16 carries for 56 yards. He got in the end zone. Facial rootin' tootin'. 6 carries. Yep, 6 carries, 21 yards. He gets in the end zone for the second week in a row. Brenton Strange right now leading the team in receptions. 6 receptions for 61 yards. Brian Thomas Jr. had 2 for 55. Parker Washington, 4 for 34. Look, I got to tell you, I don't think Liam Cohen knows what in the hell to do with Brian Thomas Jr. He has no clue. Brian Thomas Jr. for the first 3 weeks has been getting nothing. It's been insane.
It makes no sense. I mean, he was one of the best receivers in football last year. Probably top 5 rookie. In our rookie rankings last year.
I think he was in the top 10. I think he might have been top 5. He might have actually been top 3. He had such a good season last year.
Well, he was number 2 behind Malik Neighbors.
Yeah.
We'll just,
receiving wise. Yeah.
And he had a fantastic season. I think what has hurt Jacksonville is this obsession of trying to get Travis Hunter involved to get in the receiving game, and instead of bringing it along slowly and surprising teams with it. They've been coming out right out the gate with it, and I think they're trying to force the issue. And bro, I said it for a while now. Defense. With him on defense.
Yep.
70-30, 80-20. 80% of the time you're on defense. 20% of the time you're on offense, and catch him by surprise every once in a while with some stuff. Don't try to force the ball to him. And Brian Thomas Jr., I think it's a new system, trying to get everybody on the same page all at the same time. It's the beginning of the year.
Yep.
And I think Jacksonville is trying to force the issue, and it's backfired.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, in this game they won, but really, did they?
Yeah, I mean, and that's a big thing. And really, it's that for the Texans, what's backfired for them is all of those offensive linemen, they just let go out the door. Again, we're talking about it. This is the 3rd game in a row we've talked about where the hell is the O-line? C.J. Stroud, 25 for 38, 204 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions in this one. The man was harassed all game long.
And yet the Jaguars only managed to sack him twice.
Yeah, but he was harassed all game, and he's been harassed in all 3 of these games. Nick Chubb, 9 carries for 38 yards. Woody Marks, 6 for 27. Nico Collins had 8 receptions for 104 yards and a touchdown. Dalton Schultz, 5 for 39. Christian Kirk, 3 for 25. Christian Kirk returning from injury here. Look, the Texans are on defense. They're doing everything they can on the defensive side of the ball. And C.J. Stroud's doing everything he can as a quarterback. But to use that Tyler euphemism, you bought the Ferrari, but you didn't put it in the garage, right? Yeah. And that's exactly what they did. They bought the Ferrari and they left it in downtown Detroit with the keys in it. I mean, that's basically what it is. I mean, that poor guy has been beat up for 2 years now, and everybody's wondering why there's a regression from C.J. Stroud. The reason there's a regression is because you let Laramie Tunsil go out the door to Washington. It's just silly.
That's a part of it. The new offense is a part of it. Mm-hmm. A reshuffled offensive line. But at some point, my brother, you got to make plays.
Yeah.
Right? There's only so many excuses before you got to look at you and say, hey, man, you still got to complete that pass.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Right? So he deserves a little bit more playing than he's been getting because he hasn't been very good. The rookie year was really a spectacular rookie season.
It was great.
Hadn't seen that in a long time. How many rookies have taken their team to the playoffs? Yeah, right. Just a handful. I can only remember Dan Marino and
after they picked second overall.
Right.
Yeah.
I can only remember just one or two, and he did a fantastic job the rookie year. Last season was that okay? We've got some tape on you. We kind of know how to play you, and he did not, elevate the game. He wasn't bad. He wasn't terrible.
No.
Right. But
he wasn't what he was in his rookie year.
Right.
Yeah.
You maybe kind of expected it. Okay, now this is the third year. You need to take another leap forward. And the organization not helping them out with the O-line issues and the shuffling of coordinators and changing things didn't really help. But you still got to make some plays.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, and the coordinator situation might be, something they need to address. I mean, a guy that knows how to handle a pocket passer might be a good thing, because that's what Stroud is. He's a pure, clean pocket passer, and they're over here wasting him. But the Jags, they go out and get their first win of the season. They wind up going 1-2 on the year, and the Texans fall to 0-3 for the first time in several years here. So that's rough. Next up, the Indianapolis Colts. They have a big turnaround here. They're 3-0. They go out and beat the Tennessee Titans 41-20. Daniel Jones, 18 for 25, 228 yards and a touchdown. He played really good mistake-free football. Jonathan Taylor was the big story here. 17 carries, 102 yards, and 3 touchdowns on the day. He had a 6 average on the day. Michael Pittman, 6 receptions for 73 yards and a touchdown. He's basically retaken that role as the number one.
Yeah, because Anthony Richardson just wouldn't throw him the ball.
Yep, and you get Alec Pierce, 4 receptions for 67 yards. Tyler Warren still looking all right, just a little quiet in this game. 3 receptions for 38. Josh Downs, 2 for 20 or 34. Yes, it's 34 yards. On the other side, the Titans, Cam Ward, 23 for 38, 219. He threw a touchdown again for the second week in a row. He did throw an interception, though.
Silly, stupid, ridiculous interception.
It was a terrible one.
You will never complete. You can complete that pass maybe in Pop Warner.
Yeah.
Maybe flag football.
It was one of the ugliest interceptions I'd seen in a long time.
Not going to complete that pass. You barely will complete that pass at Washington State.
Yep.
Or Incarnate Word. Or Miami. But you damn sure ain't completing that in the NFL. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. Tony Pollard, 16 carries for 45 yards and a touchdown. Just a 2.8 average for him on the day. Chico Conquo, he had 5 receptions for 66. Alec Ayomanor, I'm going to get that right eventually. 4 receptions. Ayomanor, or however the hell you want to pronounce it.
Alec Ayomanor.
Ayomanor, is that how we're pronouncing it?
Yeah.
4 receptions, 38 yards.
it.
I don't know how the hell to pronounce that name. It's just crazy. Like it's a tongue twister. But 4 receptions, 38 yards, and another touchdown on the year. It's the second one of the year. Yeah. Tyler Lockett had 4 for 37. Gunnar Helm getting involved here. 3 receptions, 27 yards. The rookie, I really like Gunnar Helm. But, the Colts, they dominate this game. This was sort of expected. Is the shoe going to drop on Daniel Jones, or are we just kind of just seeing where it goes here?
Hasn't struck midnight yet.
Yeah,
what do you think, Alan?
The jury's out. I do think at some point the shoe's going to drop. And if we take a look at the schedule, I'm going to try to throw a dart and see at the exact moment where Daniel Jones is going to show his true colors. He could either start, struggling at the Chargers on October 19th.
Yeah.
I think they got the Rams they got the Rams this Sunday. And, the Los Angeles Rams have probably one of the best defenses in football. And if not in football, then, they're definitely, a top 10 or top 13 defense. They could run into trouble with the Kansas City Chiefs, or one of these divisional games, close to the end of the year. Because again, division games hit different. But if this Indianapolis Colts team is going to falter anywhere, it's with any of the Los Angeles teams, because they are both road games. And you got to go all the way out to the West Coast. You got to adjust to the Pacific time, and it's going to be pleasantly warm. But so time will tell here. I have high hopes. I have high hopes for Daniel Jones here, especially since, every single game he plays well, it's just another condemnation of the government cheese organization known as the New York Football Giants. But I really think that the rest of their schedule's not that tough, to be completely honest. So, they might be able to get away with a few things here.
Yeah, they've got sort of an easy schedule coming up here, including this Titans team. The Titans, I mean, they're in a rebuild here. They're dealing. Here's one little tidbit of news here. Head coach Brian Callahan, he is giving up his offensive play calling duties to quarterback coach Bo Hardigree.
What play?
Yeah,
What play?
I don't.
I haven't seen anything from this offense. What play?
What plays? Which ones you talking about?
Here's my thing about this whole thing. Callahan got brought in to Tennessee because he was the offensive coordinator for the Bengals for the Super Bowl run.
Yeah.
And he was named as some sort of great, Super Bowl, offensive coordinator. He was just some brilliant mind. Yeah. And now here we are, and that brilliant mind is giving up the offensive play calling to the quarterbacks coach. Mm-hmm. Why are you here? It's kind of like that Office Space. What would you say you do here?
Yeah, that's an excellent point.
It just doesn't make sense. It's the most clueless shit I've seen in a long time, and they're going to have to wind up going. I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense.
Now, I've never been a fan of Will Levis as a football player on the field.
No.
We know this.
Yeah.
So we know it wasn't all Will Levis's poor play, not to mention the poor play of the offensive line, but it was the play calling as well in Brian. Maybe he's just an offensive coordinator.
I can't even say he's just an offensive coordinator.
There you go.
I mean, do you see what's going on here? I think what we're learning is that a lot of his success was Zach Taylor.
I think, and the fact that he did also have Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Lee Higgins, Chase Brown. Shall I go on?
Yeah, all those guys. He had Joe Mixon for a while there. I mean, he had
Yoshavash.
Yeah, he has guys out there that were playing good ball. Yeah, and here we are.
Maybe he got a little bit more credit than maybe he possibly deserved.
Yeah,
we'll see what it looks like, because a lot of coaching it's not all X's and O's. A lot of the coaching is being able to manage the Jimmies and Joes.
It makes you wonder, man. It makes you wonder what's going on. And real quick, because I missed these ones, I want to talk about these. Circling back to the Texans game here, the Texans, they have their 0-3 issue, but they got other things going on here. They've got, first of all, wide receiver Nico Collins. He was limited in practice due to a knee injury.
Uh-oh.
And then also, corner Derek Stingley did not practice due to an oblique injury. So the Texans are dealing with that. But also, the bigger news here is they went out and released corner and safety C.J. Gardner-Johnson. D'Amico Ryan says, and I quote, "It was my decision to move on." He was saying this to the Houston Chronicle. He said, "I know what's best for my team. Coming from me, the head coach, it was the best for our team. That's why I made the decision." Also, per ESPN, according to team sources, Gardner-Johnson has allowed 3 big plays in close losses that contributed to the opponent scoring touchdowns. Gardner-Johnson reportedly struggled to guard the player he was supposed to in Houston's scheme and rubbed teammates the wrong way by refusing to take responsibility for the mistakes.
There you go. I was waiting for it.
I feel like that's par for the course for Chauncey Gardner-Johnson all day.
Kind of right. A lot of times when we don't know what these other teams know, right? We only get a little bit of the information. What goes on is way beyond what we know, right? Us, just speculating.
But we know Gardner-Johnson
is kind of.
Let's straight up. Let's call a spade a spade. Guy's an asshole.
He's kind of a
He's an asshole.
Little bristly.
Is that what we're calling it?
Yeah.
A little bristly.
Right?
Golly, you're being way too kind about it.
Man,
Fabulous one, not mincing his words. And, and He's got a hot cold relationship with football fans all throughout. I mean, go ahead.
This is a guy that ripped the helmet off one of his opponents and got into a fist fight with him. Walked over to a guy when he was in New Orleans, straight punched him in the face while the guy still had his helmet on like a doofus.
That's
Dumb. Then he goes over there and acts like an asshole in Detroit, goes to Philadelphia, acts like an asshole in Philadelphia, goes to Houston. Yeah, gets a ring, by being there, and then goes over to then he goes over to Houston and acts like an asshole in Houston, and then wonders why he gets cut. This guy has been a loudmouth.
Yeah.
In my opinion, he's an asshole. I think he's a loudmouth. I don't think he's a good teammate. I don't think he's a team player.
That's probably a lot.
I think he's an arrogant person, and I think that he only gives a shit about himself, in my opinion. But maybe that's just me. Just judging by what I've seen on the field, that is the vibe I get from this dude. And
if the head coach is saying it was my decision,
yeah,
that's sometimes the locker room chemistry needs to be right.
Yeah.
And if the locker room, and if you're losing, let me tell you something. If you're winning, right, you can deal with a lot of stuff. When you're winning. Yeah. Right. But when you how much? 0-3?
How much has Andy Reid dealt with?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
0-3, please.
Yeah, you can't be acting that way at 0-3.
Yeah, you can go now.
Yeah. Next up, let's talk.
My job might be on the line. I'm gonna take you.
Let's talk about these Commanders. They go out and beat the Vegas Raiders 41-24. Just a pretty dominant performance here. Marcus Mariota, 15 for 21, 207 yards. He had a touchdown. Jeremy McNichols, 4 carries for 78 yards and a touchdown.
Say it right. Jeremy McWeapon.
That's what he is. He's an offensive weapon.
They called him that at
Yeah, Marcus Mariota also had 6 carries for 40 yards and a touchdown. And Bill Krosky gets 8 carries for 26 yards and a touchdown.
Corey, I'm going to call him Jacory.
Well, he wants to be Bill. But anyway, also, Tim McLaurin gets onto the field. He gets 3 receptions for 74 yards. Luke McCaffrey, 3 receptions, 56 yards and a touchdown. Zach Ertz get 3 for 38. And Chris Moore, 2 for 25. Deebo Samuel just 2 for 11 here. But you're going to get a little more out of Deebo Samuel, I think, because Terry McLaurin is dealing with a little issue here. He's questionable due to a quadricep injury. He could miss Week 4 versus the Falcons. But we didn't we call this? You missed training camp. Here you are.
Well, who does that remind you of? Outside Blitz faithful? Because to me, that reminds me of one Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah, and we'll be talking about him shortly too. But Terry McLaurin, here we are, comes back from missing training camp, already injured, might miss Week 4. But as for the Vegas Raiders, Geno Smith, 19 for 29, 289, 3 touchdowns. I mean, he tried his best. Ashton Genty, 17 carries for 63 yards, just a 3.7 average on the day. Trey Tucker, 8 receptions for 145 yards. He caught all 3 of those touchdowns.
Big game for Trey Tucker. Shout out University of Cincinnati.
Yes, sir. And also Jacoby Myers had 3 for 63. Brock Bowers just 4 for 38. And Dante Thornton, he had 2 for 29. Hey, listen. I told you before, this is my what did I say? What did I say? What did I say? I'm going to tell you right now, this is where tight ends go to die, the Pete Carroll system. And Brock Bowers has not done anything since Week 1. He has been very quiet since Week 1, and that is a Pete Carroll problem. And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't understand how Ashton Genty does not reach 20 carries. I do not know how you don't lean on Ashton Genty more. I don't know how you don't give him the ball more. This is just flabbergasting to me.
Problem is the Raiders were kind of out of this game early, right? It's kind of tough to continue to run the football when it's an uphill battle.
Yeah.
Right? It's hard to run the ball with an uphill battle, and the Commanders were in charge of this one for the vast majority of the game.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to do. And I brought this up last show, maybe 2 shows, and maybe I'll just keep bringing it up. The Raiders did not do Ashton Genty any favors by not drafting and not getting in free agency any real difference makers along the offensive line.
Again, this is like the theme of the show today.
Yeah,
Offensive line.
Yeah. It's like, man, you got to move these dudes off the line of scrimmage. They're not doing it. And Ashton Genty feels like he's at Boise State again. I got to do everything myself. But this time it's another level, and you're not going to be able to do what you've done in previous years in college, not in the NFL.
Especially not taking on some of those teams that he's taken on. I mean, some of those teams that he was taking on at Boise State, it's not like he was taking on like world-class, guys here.
Well, you see Deron Payne in the Mountain West, right?
Right. Exactly.
Tell me a dude Deron Payne size playing in the Mountain West, please.
Yeah, it was just, it's very interesting. And Deron Payne did have 4 tackles in that game. Bobby Wagner also had 6 tackles, 2 sacks. Frankie Louvu's in the middle there. Can't forget him. I mean, this is a good defense for Washington. They have a lot of stars, especially in that front 7.
Yeah.
And they really in the secondary as well. You got guys like Sanderstill back there, who's a star. But like you look at what Washington did here. I mean, they brutalized the Raiders. I mean, it was 20-10 at halftime. Yeah. And they just ran away with this thing. 14 points in the third quarter. And there was no catching up at that point.
Yeah, all these old-ass retread head coaches. Pete Carroll has had a fantastic career, college and NFL coaching.
Yep.
It may be time to say goodbye.
Yeah, I think we're nearing that time. He'll have probably one more year, and then after that, if he doesn't, fix something, we're going to be having a different conversation. Alex, do you need to see more out of Ashton Genty? Is this an Ashton Genty problem, or are you with us here on you thinking this is awful?
Listen, we always say it here. I think it's more. We say, "Oh, it's the theme of the show." I think it's not just this episode, the entire show, every single thing we do. Most of what are we always talking about? The offensive line, because it all starts up front. And, it's just it. The 3 skill positions are quarterback, wide receiver, running back, and 4th left tackle. Like we always talk about the left tackle, protect the blind side. And you got to open up the running lanes. And, if you can't do that, then you're gonna run into problems. This is not an Ashton Genty problem. You get him to a good team with a good offensive line, he might start tearing it up. But man, I mean,
and you saw the difference when Christian Darrisaw came back. Talk about left tackles. You saw the difference when he came back. Now, here we are. So, I mean, the Raiders, they go out and drop one to the Commanders here. Next up, let's talk about these Eagles with this comeback victory versus the Rams. 24
yet again.
24-point comeback here against the Rams and the Eagles, man. They go on to win this one 33-26. They got a little high flying here in this one. The Eagles, Jalen Hurts, 21 for 32, 226, 3 touchdowns on the day. Saquon only had 18 carries for 46 yards, just a 2.6 average for him. They really focused on shutting him down. Jalen Hurts, 9 carries for 40 yards and a touchdown. Again, out rushing Saquon. This is like the 3rd week he's done that in a row. A.J. Brown, 6 receptions, 109 yards and a touchdown.
There he is.
Go figure. Just after I traded him in Dynasty, this is what he does. Also, Devontae Smith, 8 receptions for 60 yards and a touchdown. Dallas Goedert, 1 for 33 and a touchdown. I mean, they got going here. The Eagles in the second half of this football game, they were down 19-7 at the half. So, I mean, to see this final score, pretty incredible. As for the Rams, Matt Stafford, 19 for 33, 196, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Kyren Williams, there he goes, 20 carries for 94 yards and a 4.7 average. We were waiting for that. Blake Corum, I talked about this last week, a little bit more of Blake Corum getting sprinkled in here. 8 carries, 53 yards. So he increases his carries from last week. Puka Nacua, 11 receptions, 112 yards. There's Poo-Poo. And Devontae Adams, 3 receptions for 56 yards. He gets in the end zone. We finally heard something from Devontae Adams. Look at that.
It was a beautiful pass, too.
It was pretty. And then also Kyren Williams, two receptions for 18 yards and a TD from him as well. This was a fun game to watch. This one I actually had on the multi-view there. I was watching this one happen, and what a great game. The Eagles, man, they're getting it done again. And the big finisher was Jordan Davis, big Jordan Davis, with the blocked field goal. to ice this thing.
Rumbling, bumbling, stumbling.
Almost like it was, it kind of reminds me when the defensive lineman picks off a pass and they call it something like a thick six.
Yes.
It's kind of on this level. And I saw Jordan Davis. That was a large man hitting a very, very high speed. That was like a car.
It was like a freight train.
But here's the thing. Another theme of this week, especially with this game. The game isn't over until it's over.
Yeah.
Just period. Keep playing. Keep playing because the Eagles could have packed it in.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Good try, fellas. Right. Get them next week. No. The game is not over until it reminds me of Herm Edwards.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You play to win the game.
Yep.
Right. Hello. Right. You play to win the game, and that's what the Eagles did. Jalen Hurts. I don't know why. I don't know why people. I don't know why he's being disrespected and disregarded. Dude, all he did was show up in the second half and bring his team back.
Yep.
Right. And they needed a big time special team play to salt the thing away. But he put the team on his back and got them where they needed to be. We talk about Saquon Barkley not getting very many yards so far this season. I think it's by design.
Yeah.
But also it's a byproduct of Dallas Goedert missing some time.
Yep.
And he's their best blocking tight end. And you need a blocking tight end to be able to really accentuate and really have that run game blossom.
Yeah.
When you don't have that, because Grant Calcaterra, Grant Calcaterra.
Yeah.
But he's not a blocking tight end.
And Goddard came back in this game, but they by the time they started using him, it was past time.
It was
It was past time.
Right.
And the Eagles, they do have a problem of their own though, and it's interesting that they made this comeback in spite of this. They have placed outside linebacker Nolan Smith on IR due to a triceps injury. He's going to miss 4 to 5 weeks. They're targeting a week 9 return for him. So you're losing one of your top edge rushers. He's a speedster too, is Nolan. So that'll be a tough one. But the Eagles, they go out and beat the Rams. I mean, definitively here.
Jalen Hurts being disrespected, and he just keeps winning.
And you want to talk about definitive wins? I was just flabbergasted by
this. This is the most surreal score of the week. I did not have this on my bingo card.
No, nobody.
They passed out.
Yeah, nobody did. The Carolina Panthers go out and beat the Atlanta Falcons 30-0. 30-0.
No.
I mean, it's just one of the more pathetic performances that I have seen in a long time from the Atlanta Falcons. Bryce Young, 16 for 24, 121 yards. He played mistake-free football.
He didn't score any touchdowns.
Yeah, but you get Chuba Hubbard, 17 carries, 73 yards. Rico Dowdle, 10 for 30 yards and a touchdown. Bryce Young had 2 carries for 8 yards and a touchdown. And
nobody was there.
Yep, Mike Jackson. I mean, 5. He had an interception. You had Chow Smith Wade. He had an interception. I mean, this was just a flabbergasting game. It was a confusing game. I mean, if you look at it, it's field goal and then Rico Dowdle 1-yard run, and then field goal and then Chow Smith Wade 11-yard interception return for a touchdown. Then it's a field goal. Then it's Bryce Young 4-yard run. I mean, it's just for a touchdown.
This right here, you know what it reminds me of? It's death by 1,000 paper cuts. That's what this is.
Yep, and then also Michael Penix on the Falcons side, 18 for 36 for 172 yards and just the 2 interceptions. They wind up sitting him down, bringing Kirk Cousins in. He goes 5 for 7 for 29 yards. Bijan Robinson only ran the ball 13 times in this game, which is just
why.
insane. But he had a 72 yards. He had a 5.5 average. Run the man. Nathan Carter, 7 carries for 46 yards. He had a 6.6 average. I mean, Drake London, 5 receptions for 55 yards. Darnell Mooney, 4 for 44. Bijan had 5 for 39. Kyle Pitts, 4 for 39. Ray McLeod, 2 for 20. It's not like the Falcons were incapable of moving the ball. It's just that they were going to the wrong places and not giving – really, I hate to say it, just give it to Bijan, get the hell out of the way. You know, when you have a guy getting a 5.5 average.
Here's the thing. The Atlanta Falcons have a top 5 offensive line, right? They've got a top 5 running back. Put it where you want. Don't care. And they've got two of the top receivers in the league, right? What they don't have is capable coaching to exploit all of those strengths and blow teams out of the water like they should. Like I said last week, they should have beat the Vikings by 40. Should have put 40 on the Vikings.
Yep.
But there was something in the offense that just didn't click on last Monday night, and it's still in the offense just not clicking. All those playmakers, all that talent, and you can't produce anything, which is why I don't know if you got it on the news feed talking about the Atlanta Falcons coaching.
Yeah, I haven't had them. I haven't talked about their coaching yet, but I agree with you. This is something
They fired Ike Hilliard, who was the receivers coach.
Yeah.
Right? What I've been talking about, man, and I respect Raheem Morris for everything that he's done and accomplished in his career. But my man, your offense is not working.
No.
Whatever's going on, you need to change it. You need to fix it fast. I will say I did call the Carolina Panthers to win this division, and that might happen.
I mean, they're 1-2 right now. I mean, I think the only team really in their way is the Bucs, and they've been having some come from behind victories.
Yeah. So, but I'm just saying it would be disheartening.
Yeah.
With all that talent,
Uh-huh.
offensively and defensively, if the Falcons miss the playoffs because of poor coaching and not being able to exploit to accentuate the strengths of your offense.
Yeah, I agree. And the Panthers, just so you know, they do have a few, minor issues going on. Running back Chuba Hubbard and Tedero McMillan both were limited in practice due to calf injuries. So both those guys, they are limited. One thing about the Falcons, and just a couple minor things here. First of all, outside linebacker James Pierce, he was limited in practice with a groin injury, so that'll be a little problematic for their defense. And the funny part about this game was they went and cut Younghoe Koo after two weeks of struggles, and then they went and signed John Parker Romo, and he went 5 for 5 against the Vikings. Then he comes out here and he misses 2 field goals against the Panthers.
Right? You can't script this stuff, man.
Mm-mm.
Oh, man, just terrible. And the Falcons, as for Raheem Morris, you called this in the offseason. You said Raheem Morris is not a good head coach. You said that this was going to be a problem and he's going to wind up costing his team games. I agreed with you. Raheem Morris, not a good coach in my opinion. I didn't think he was a good coaching pickup when he got picked up. I like D'Amico Ryans, but I don't like Raheem Morris. And both were good defense coordinators. Both very good defense coordinators. But I didn't like the Raheem Morris pickup. And I think Raheem Morris, if I'm not mistaken, he failed as a head coach in the past. So here we are. Raheem Morris again, head coach of the Atlanta Falcons, misses the playoffs twice by the skin of his teeth to the Buccaneers, and now here we are. Getting blown out.
It kind of feels like an episode of Scooby-Doo where somebody's just going to pull on that face of his and they're going to reveal Arthur Smith. Because I wonder if he snuck back in the building somehow.
Who are you really? I gotcha. I would have gotten away with it if it weren't for you blasted Panthers. But here we are. The Panthers go out and blow out the Falcons 30-0. Moving on to the Steelers, they go out and beat the Patriots 21-14.
Speaking of Arthur Smith,
yeah, no shit. Here we go. The Panthers, man, or the Steelers, man, rather. Aaron Rodgers 16 for 23, 139, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Jaylen Warren just 18 carries for 47 yards. I mean, it really was not a good performance from Jaylen Warren, who has started the season really hot. Kenneth Gainwell, 4 carries for 16 yards and a touchdown. Jaylen Warren also had 5 receptions for 34 yards in this game. Calvin Austin, 3 for 34 and a touchdown. DK Metcalf, just 3 for 32 and a touchdown. The Steelers' offense has been very, very quiet these last 2 weeks after having that big scoring game against the Jets. Yeah. In the meantime, as for the Patriots, Drake May, 28 for 37, 268 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. May also had 7 carries for 45 yards. Right now, he's the best player on that offense. Travion Henderson, just 11 carries for 28 yards. Hunter Henry, 8 receptions for 90 yards and 2 touchdowns. Hello, Mr. Hunter Henry. He has games like this every year.
Yeah.
They just show up randomly. It's like, oh, Hunter Henry, 8 receptions, 90 yards.
Get used to it because Josh McDaniels, the offensive coordinator, is a big fan of Hunter Henry's game.
Yep.
And Hunter Henry's game is a big fan of offensive coordinator Josh
Yeah.
McDaniels.
Yeah. Right now, you can tell by the numbers.
Yeah.
For the Steelers, they're going to have some defensive issues. They're going into that game against the Minnesota Vikings. They're going to be. They've got Alex Highsmith, who was hurt last week, still not practicing due to that ankle injury. So that's going to be a lingering thing for Alex Highsmith. And also, corner Joey Porter Jr., he has a hamstring injury. He's listed as a limited participant in practice as they get ready to go over the pond this week to go and meet the Minnesota Vikings in Ireland. So this will be something of an issue.
And I gotta point something out too. You're sitting here thinking to yourself, okay, I'm looking at the team stats, right? And once again, situation pops up where one team, is outperforming the other team in almost every single facet you can think of. Total yards, passing yards, rushing yards, yards per play, first downs, third down efficiency, fourth down efficiency. The Patriots were 4 for 5 on fourth down. They had 71 plays. They only had 1 punt. They committed 7 penalties for 54 yards to the Steelers, 8 for 59. But here's the gimmick here. In time of possession, 33 minutes and 20 seconds. You would think, with Drake May throwing the ball 37 times and getting 268 yards and 2 touchdowns, you would think that the Patriots would have won this game, right? Here's where the wheels fell off the wagon. Obviously, Drake May threw an interception. We talked about that. The Patriots also had 4 fumbles lost. Not just fumbles lost where the Steelers picked it up. So at the end, I think Drake May had a baker's hat on because there were turnovers being cooked up all game long.
Yep, and the Patriots they also had 5 sacks. They had 5 sacks to 0 sacks.
Yeah, they gave up 5 sacks. I mean, that's wild.
Pittsburgh did not give up 1.
Yeah,
right. Aaron Rodgers. What was the number on Aaron Rodgers?
Aaron Rodgers. He had not a lot. His numbers were 16 for 23 for 139, 2 touchdowns.
And he threw a pick. But here's the thing. Add up all that time of possession and all those yards and fourth down conversions, third down conversions, all of that. It's hard to win a game when you give the ball away 5 times.
And also, one of those was Stevenson falling into the end zone, dropping the ball as he's falling into the end zone.
I would be shocked if he plays more than half of the snaps next week.
Yeah, you're going to say, especially with how Mike Vrabel is.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You might not see him on the field very much, but the Steelers, they get one, and they're going to be going over the pond against a tough Vikings team.
But that's how the Steelers do, right?
Yeah.
Right? They just grind you down.
Yep.
Little by little, grind you down. They couldn't do it to the Seahawks, bad special teams, whatever.
But that's what Mike Vrabel, offenses and defenses do. That's his brand of football right there. That's what his brand was when he was in Tennessee, and here we are. I mean, you see it all the time, and now Mike Vrabel, he's doing it in Pittsburgh, or he's doing it that's what he's doing it with the Patriots. I mean, you see Mike Vrabel do that. He grinds on people. Now the Steelers. You talk about the Steelers. They've been doing that for years.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's just the recipe. Don't change it.
Yeah. As for the next game, the Browns.
Surprise of the week.
They shocked the world. They go out and they beat the Green Bay Packers 13-10. How?
How? You mean to tell me, and this is one of the lowest scoring games of the week as well. And let's go ahead and break it down. Box score, the box score tells a little bit of the story.
This was good defense by the Cleveland Browns for a lot of this game. And Jordan.
Good defense by the Packers as well.
Yep. Yeah. And until the fourth quarter. And then, Jordan Love, 18 for 25, 183, a touchdown and a pick. Josh Jacobs just couldn't get going, man. Just a 1.9 average on the day. He was struggling. Matthew Golden finally got going, 4 receptions, 52 yards. Josh Jacobs also had 5 receptions for 44. As for the Browns, Joe Flacco, 21 for 36, 142 yards and a pick. Quinshawn Judkins, 18 carries for 94 yards and a touchdown. He had a 5.2 average. It was like he never was gone. David Njoku, 5 receptions for 40 yards. Cedric Tillman, 3 for 26. Harold Fannin, 3 for 25. I mean, it was not an offensive prolific performance by either of these teams. No. But the Cleveland Browns, man, they just pulled it off.
If this game had been well, this is another example of the game is not over until it's over.
Yeah.
Right? And someone very close to me.
And Grant Delpit, by the way.
Grant Delpit.
I love some Grant Delpit.
They used to say this. They don't. I'll leave that one alone. They really liked his play when he was at LSU.
Yeah.
And a lot of quarterbacks would slam their helmets down and say Grant Delpit instead of something else, right? But here's the thing: someone very close to me was wondering how this game was happening. It's the Browns. It's the Browns. I said, yeah, they have a really good defense.
Yeah, they do.
Right? And you add that to the fact that the Packers they lost Aaron Banks at one point.
Yeah.
The offensive lineman, they lost, they just got him back, but they lost Zach Tom, the tackle. They lost him throughout the game.
Yep.
Now you lose 2 really good offensive linemen, and you still got to deal with Myles Garrett and Collins and Grant, the rookie from Michigan. Mason Grant. Not Grant. That was Kenneth Grant. I was thinking of the Bengals. But you got to deal with those 3 dudes plus the Jim Schwartz.
Yeah.
System.
Yeah. It's Jim Schwartz.
Right?
He's no slouch as defensive coordinator.
Not at all. And so this game came down to coaching and who wanted it more.
Yep.
And just keep banging and banging and banging and finish the job. Finish the story, man. Right? And Green Bay had their opportunity. And at the end, special teams. That's why it's offense, defense, and special teams.
Yeah.
Because you're going to need special teams to win you a game or 2 every single season.
Yes. And that's basically what the final thing was here for the Browns. Special teams won in this game at the end of it.
Block the kick.
And then kick the kick.
There you go.
I mean, it was a snoozer of a game, but a defensive battle, and the Browns wind up walking out of this one 13-10.
Dog pound.
Unbelievable. Next up, let's go ahead and talk about these Buccaneers. Well, first of all, before we move on to the Buccaneers game here, let's talk about the Browns. They've got Cedric Tillman. He's hurt. He's got listed as questionable with hand and hip injuries. So you might not see Cedric Tillman as the Browns get ready to go take on the Lions this upcoming week. So that one will be a fun one to pay attention to.
They also lost DeJuan Jones.
Yes.
The left tackle, 6'8", 320, 40 pounds.
Big boy.
Big man. And they lost him for probably for the season.
Yeah. Not a good time. Also, let's talk about these Bucs. The Bucs go out and beat the Jets 29-27. The come-from-behind victory, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the bright creamsicle orange, which I love so much. The Bucs, Baker Mayfield, 19 for 29, 233 yards and a touchdown. Bucky Irving, 25 for 66. Igbuka, man, he's just having a hell of a year to start. From the
Ohio State University.
Yep. Emeka Egbuka, 6 receptions, 85 yards. Sterling Shepard, 4 for 80. Mike Evans, 4 for 33 and a touchdown. Bucky Irving had 4 for 33. On the other side, the Jets, Tyrod Taylor drew the start. He went 26 for 36, 197 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Tyrod also had 8 carries for 48 yards. Braylon Allen, 6 for 30, and Breece Hall just 9 for 21 yards. He was just not efficient on the day. Garrett Wilson, 10 receptions, 84 yards and a touchdown. Big day for Garrett Wilson. Everybody else was basically a non-factor. But as for the Tampa Bay Bucs, man, this is their 3rd comeback victory. They get it done. They're going to have a little bit of an issue here because Mike Evans, their stud wide receiver, their wide receiver 1, he's expected to miss multiple games due to a hamstring injury. So he's going to be out.
No!
Exactly. Good news for the Jets, though. Justin Fields has become a full participant in practice after suffering a concussion in week 2. Yeah, so you're probably going to see Justin Fields back in the mix this upcoming week. So interesting storylines for both these teams, but the Buccaneers, they go out and get it done. They're 3-0 to start the year. These comebacks, man.
I will tell I think that it was more of a comeback attempt by the New York Jets, because the box score tells this story. The Buccaneers were basically up 23-6 in the third quarter, and then here come the Jets in the fourth quarter, outscoring the Bucs 21-6. But they might have outscored them in one quarter, but they didn't outscore them for the game. So and as you mentioned, for all intents and purposes, it looked like the Jets were going to win it, and then Tampa Bay finds a way to win at the last minutes. And again, when you need it, you need that dog. And Baker Mayfield, over the past couple of years, he's proved he's that dog.
Yeah, we talk about how Baker Mayfield is that dog, and the thing about Mayfield, there's a guy that we were talking about, our top quarterbacks coming out of college here. There's a guy in college right now that reminds me a lot of Baker Mayfield. That's John Mateer, by the way.
Yes, sir.
He just got that dog in him, right? But yeah, exactly. But Baker Mayfield, this is, he's a star, man. He's a stud. This is what he does. He's a gamer, and he's not afraid of anybody, and he's leading this team. And Ibuka, with the one-handed catches and stuff like that, they drafted their heir apparent, and he's really looking like it for when Mike Evans finally goes and hits the road.
This, once again, theme: offense, defense, special teams.
Yep.
Especially for the Jets. That Will McDonald block kick, run back for a touchdown.
Yep.
Big time for the Jets, right?
Yep.
But back to the same thing. The game is not over until it's over. Right? Yep. When they needed to make something happen, when the Jets did, all that emotion of the block kick and touchdown, and you see Aaron Glenn on the sidelines going crazy and
doing his dances.
Yeah. Freaking Todd Bowles looking exasperated, but Baker Mayfield steps back onto the field, and the next thing you know, 2 big chunk plays to Emeka Ibuka 2 years ago. Roundabout, I got on these airwaves, these pod waves, and this microphone, and I talked about how the Ohio State University receiver room over the past 7-8 years have been just so vicious with Terry McLaurin and Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave, Jackson Smith and Jigba. Now they got Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah.
Right, and Emeka Ibuka had been along the way, right?
Yep.
And I talked about Brian Hartline, who's now the offensive coordinator for the Buckeyes, was such a fantastic wide receiver coach. He had brought these guys along and developed their game.
Yep.
And you can see that, and it carries over. I don't know what they're doing in Arizona with Marvin Harrison Jr., but Emeka Ibuka, you see it. He's a professional receiver. Like, he was a professional receiver at Ohio State, and he just changed jerseys, and he's just doing what he's supposed to do
and what he's always done.
A possession guy who makes big time catches. Though he's a possession receiver, but he will burn you if you don't respect his game.
Yep, and that's exactly what he's been doing. I mean, these first 3 games for him have been stellar.
Yes,
stellar.
Yeah. And there's a couple, 2 more points I want to make before we head to the next game. Point number 1, keep your eyes open for Jeremiah Smith. He's supposed to be one of the emerging wide receivers in Ohio State, and he was a freshman, and we saw him as a freshman. He was like, oh my gosh, this guy's a star. So, and he's got a couple of years yet before he's eligible for the draft. So when you hear that name get called out, just keep a note of what team he lands on. And speaking of teams, I will tell you this. I am very much looking forward to this matchup against the Eagles. The Eagles are coming to town. And remember, a couple years ago, the Eagles were 10-1, and they were marching along fine, and then they had that epic collapse at the throughout the season, and they putted into the playoffs. And where did they go? Went to Tampa Bay. And Baker Mayfield stomped the Eagles out. And the only difference now is Matt Patricia's not stinking up the joint as defensive coordinator. So, I think, we talked a couple of years ago about how the Kansas City Chiefs were getting everybody's best. I think it's time for the Eagles to get everybody's best.
Yeah, I think the Eagles are going to they're going to have their work cut out for them with the Bucs. I think the Bucs are going to take it to them, and they always have. The Buccaneers have. They've always given the Eagles a hard time.
Yeah.
I think this one's going to be entertaining to watch.
And the Buckeyes have another guy there that people don't talk about.
Yeah, he's a rookie, isn't he?
Carnell Tate.
Yeah.
They don't talk about Carnell. They love Jeremiah Smith, but they don't talk about Carnell Tate. Keep an eye out for Carnell Tate.
Yeah, they've had some good tight ends come out of there as well. Kate Stover, for example.
Dalton Schultz.
Yep. So they do have some guys out of there as well. Moving on, let's talk about the Chargers going out and beating the Broncos 23-20. Bo Nix, 14 for 25, 153 yards and a touchdown. J.K. Dobbins, 11 for 83 and a touchdown. He's sort of taken over that RB1 role here over R.J. Harvey until
Until he gets injured.
Yeah, till the inevitable. Cortland Sutton.
Come on, man. Can't be called it.
Cortland Sutton, 6 receptions for 118 yards and a touchdown. There's Cortland Sutton being the wide receiver one. He's always been Bo Nix's favorite target. Moving over to the Chargers, Justin Herbert, 28 for 47, 300 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Omarion Hampton, 19 carries for 70 yards and a touchdown. He winds up taking over after Najee Harris suffers a torn Achilles in this game. He's officially out for the season. So,
oh, no!
Yep, so you won't see Najee Harris out on the field, but they still have Omarion Hampton rolling out. And, 19 carries for 70 yards is not bad. Quentin Johnston, 6 receptions for 89 yards. He's come alive this year. Keenan Allen, 7 for 65 and a touchdown. Omarion Hampton also had 6 receptions for 59 yards in this game. Aronde Gadsden had 5 for 46.
CT.
And Ladd McConkey, 4 for 41. He's been very quiet since the Quentin Johnston, Keenan Allen team has come alive here. Teams have been queuing in on Ladd McConkey quite a bit. But the Chargers, when you needed it, that's what we talk about. When you need it, Justin Herbert came alive, came through, he made it work, and you saw Bo Nix sitting there like, man, I had this guy, and Justin Herbert, man, he put on the cape again. This is the second time in 3 weeks he's put on the cape. He did it against the Chiefs. Now he does it again against the Broncos. Justin Herbert looking every bit of a top pick and a top quarterback in this league right now. I think he's quarterback number 1, if I'm not mistaken, statistically right now.
He could be. Don't know until we look at the numbers.
Yep.
But yeah, he did a very good job at the end of the game. It's something that I haven't seen a lot of for Justin Herbert. Just keep doing that.
Yep.
And you will be able to change my opinion of you at the end of the year in the playoffs when everything counts, when it's a whole new season.
When it's not
And
cutting
when
time.
you know what I mean? High leverage situations with non-negotiables, that's when you will be able to change my mind. Till then, it's about what I've seen from Justin Herbert. Very good play. I got nothing negative to say about Justin Herbert in the late in the game in this.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, so I feel like we're in the twilight zone here. The top quarterback in the NFL right now, Daniel Jones. He is literally number 1 in QBR right now. It's the twilight zone. Yeah, that's exactly where we're at. But in any case, Justin Herbert right now ranks 8. He ranks 8.
Yeah.
Yep, and you're talking it's Jones, Goff, Lamar, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Baker Mayfield, Jalen Hurts, Justin Herbert.
Well, look at those teams.
Yeah, look at those teams and
Right.
look at those players.
What's the team record when you look at those, right?
Right.
The collective record. So you see, this is, the NFL is very much a quarterback-driven league.
Yeah, and Justin Herbert, here he goes. He gets it done again. Chargers to 3-0 here. They're leading the division.
The Broncos must feel like sugar, honey, iced tea. They had it. They had it, and they let it go.
Yep.
Last week, they had it, and they let it go this week.
Yep. So now they're going to have to retool some things and figure it out. And you could tell that they were not happy. It was not happy. I mean, it just is what it is at this point.
Right.
Next up, Saints go out and get blown out by the Seahawks, 44-13. Sam Darnold, man, 14 for 18, 218 yards, 2 touchdowns on the day. Kenny Walker, 16 carries for 38 yards, but he did get in the end zone twice. George Holani had 10 carries for 27 yards. Kenny Walker really slowed.
Olani from Boise State.
Yeah.
Look at the Boise State running backs represent.
Yeah, he got on the field because of the fact that you did have Zach Charbonnet hurt going into this game, so he was held out. Kenny Walker, he got the 2 touchdowns. It was a lower yardage output than he had last week because last week he just exploded, but he did get in the end zone twice. Receiving wise, Jackson Smith and Jigba, he had 5 receptions for 96 yards and a touchdown. Torrey Horton, there he is again. We talked about him last week. 3 receptions for 32 yards and a touchdown.
Colorado State.
Yes, sir. Cooper Kupp, 2 receptions for 31 yards. A.J. Barner got 1 for 23. Kenny Walker also had 1 for 12. I mean, this was actually, this is what I expected. We said that the Saints, you saw the best of what you were going to see out of Spencer Rattler. This is what I expected. I mean, he got 28 for 39, 218 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. Alvin Kamara, 18 carries for 42 yards. They cued in on him. You could tell they did. Chris Olave, 10 receptions for 57 yards. Juwan Johnson, 6 receptions for 51. Rashid Shaheed, 4 for 42. And Brandon Cooks, he's still alive. 3 receptions for 24 yards. But I said last week, you saw the best you're going to get out of Spencer Rattler. And then he goes into this week and you see this game and you can tell you saw the best you were going to get out of Spencer Rattler last week when he put up those 3 touchdowns.
It's not an indictment of Spencer Rattler. He's still a very good quarterback. He's still doing this thing. It's still, again, learning a new system. Getting more used to what he's supposed to be doing. And let's not forget, this Seattle Seahawks defense is very good.
Yeah.
Right? They're on the road. West Coast is a very good defense. Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, that's what it is. Pacific Northwest.
But yeah, it's a very good defense, and you still got to make plays. But at the same time, the Saints roster overall as a whole, not very good.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
But
It's
again,
old Mother Hubbard and nobody's in the cupboard.
Yeah. But, Rattler's not to blame on this one.
No, I still blame Spencer Rattler. I still say he's a bum. I still say he's a bum. It's all his fault. He's garbage. Spencer Rattler's always been garbage with a bad attitude. And here he is. You got a guy that took on the Green Bay Packers and couldn't put up a point.
You just mad because it messed you up.
One goddamn point. So,
Some wounds never heal.
unbelievable. But the Seahawks blow out the Saints 44-13.
Very good.
Yeah, and this is Sam Darnold actually has been very efficient this year. Can we just point that out? I mean, I love the fact that Sam Darnold has been so efficient. He's not playing lights out ball or anything like that, but he's been accurate. He hasn't been turning the ball over. He's been throwing touchdowns. Yep. He hasn't had to throw the ball 30 times. He's making it make sense. So that's a good thing. Next up, let's talk about the Bears going out and blowing out the Dallas Cowboys, 31-14.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Interesting game here. The Cowboys, they had no answers. They really didn't. Caleb Williams, 19 for 28, 298 yards, 4 touchdowns on the day. DeAndre Swift, 13 carries for 33 yards. Kyle Monangai got on the field for 6 carries for 16 yards. It just really wasn't an efficient game running, but Luther Burton III.
Luther!
3 receptions, 101 yards, and a touchdown. Roma Dunze, 3 receptions for 62 yards and a touchdown.
What up, Rome?
DeAndre Swift, 3 receptions for 45 yards. You had DJ Morgan, 4 for 21 and a touchdown. Colston Loveland, 1 for 31. He spread the ball out, did Caleb Williams. They did it well. They ate alive that Dallas Cowboys zone defense. That's what Ben Johnson's whole career has been predicated on right now, is eating alive zone defense. The Cowboys had no answers. Meanwhile, on the Cowboys side of things, Dak Prescott, he was accurate and other than the 2 picks, he was accurate. He was 31 for 40. So, I mean, like, he only missed 9 throws, really, 251 yards, a touchdown, but he threw the 2 picks. Joe Milton eventually comes into this game. He goes 3 for 5 for 41 yards and a pick of his own. Javonte Williams, 10 carries for 76 yards. He's been really great, by the way, to start his year. Jake Ferguson, 13 receptions for 82 yards for Turd Ferguson. He just gets rolling. George Pickens, 5 receptions for 68 yards and a touchdown. Devontae Turpin, 2 for 64. Early in this game, one name that is conspicuously missing that I'm not talking about right now is CeeDee Lamb. He's out for at least 2 weeks due to a high ankle sprain suffered in this game early.
Oh, no!
Yeah, he's going to be out for a minute.
And that's a lot of the reason why the score looks the way it does.
And the other reason is their first-round rookie offensive guard Tyler Booker is now set to miss 4 to 6 weeks with a foot injury as well. So, yeah, the Cowboys have all kinds of problems.
Yeah, I saw this meme on Facebook. I laughed out loud. Losing to the quarterback you couldn't win games with is wild.
Yeah,
Matt Eberflus, head coach of the defensive coordinator, I believe, for the Dallas Cowboys, and it showed.
Yeah, he got spanked.
Here's the thing about when was the last time Ben Johnson's offenses looked bad against the Cowboys defense?
It's been a long time.
Right?
It's been a long, long time.
When Ben Johnson with Detroit, the Detroit Lions just tore apart the Cowboys defense.
Yep.
Even though it was a different regime, different coordinator there, the players are still there.
Yeah.
Right? And what they can and can't do is still there. And what Ben Johnson knows is still there.
Yep.
So it's almost like it's not as much of a surprise to me that they're going to this, especially being at home.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
So it's not like it's, a big time surprise. And, let's not forget, Deron Bland did not play for the Cowboys.
Yes, he's been out for a couple weeks. He'll be out for about, I think it's 5 more weeks. He's
His corner. Well, I think he was practicing.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
They
play.
said he was going to be out 4 to 5, but if he's practicing already, he might be ahead of his timetable. But
yeah, and so with the Cowboys making a defensive adjustments amidst injury to the secondary, it's not as surprising.
Yep. When we know the Bears are going to have to make some adjustments this upcoming week, you got tight end Colston Loveland. He's got a hip injury right now. Defensive tackle Grady Jarrett is dealing with a knee injury. Linebacker T.J. Edwards dealing with a hamstring injury. And Kyler Gordon, he's dealing with a hamstring injury. All 4 of those guys did not practice so far this week. So we're going to be keeping an eye on
4
that.
starters.
Yeah,
right.
4 big-time starters. We're not talking about just like, oh, hey, maybe they're, rotational. No.
Yeah.
Big-time starters. Including Grady Jarrett being one that they picked up in the offseason.
Free agent.
Yeah, so that was one that they paid.
So there is some good news for Bears fans. You do have you got a road game against the Raiders, so you might be able to scrape that one out, and then you hit your bye week. So you don't have a rematch at the Washington Commanders until October 13th. Now, whether or not Jaden Daniels will return and whether or not another Hail Mary ends that game is yet to be determined.
Yeah, we'll find out. We'll surely find out. But the Commanders. We're going to be talking about them momentarily. They've got something going on here with Jaden Daniels as well. Next up, the San Francisco 49ers. They go out and beat the Arizona Cardinals 16-15.
Bowling shoe ugly game.
Yeah, it really was. Last-minute field goal gets this one done. Eddie Pinheiro, who took over for Jake Moody, who they kicked out of town in San Francisco. He kicks the game winner, 35-yarder. But Mac Jones, 27 for 41, 284 yards, a touchdown and a pick. Christian McCaffrey had 17 carries for 52 yards in this one. Brian Robinson Jr. did get on the field. He had 2 carries for 22 yards. And Ricky Pearsall, man, 8 receptions, 117 yards. That's the guy we've been waiting to see here. Christian McCaffrey, 10 receptions for 88 yards. He seems pretty healthy so far. Kendrick Bourne, 4 receptions for 38 yards.
Hey,
The 49ers starting to get it done. In the meantime, you got Kyler Murray, 22 for 35, 159 yards and a touchdown. He did not
yikes.
in this game. So, I mean, it was technically mistake-free football. Trey Benson, 10 carries for 42 yards. He winds up leading the team in carries in this game because running back James Conner did suffer a foot injury in this game. He's going to require season-ending foot surgery. Benson's going to
Oh,
drop.
no.
Yep, Connor's out for the year. He's placed on season-ending IR. Yep. Marvin Harrison Jr., 3 receptions for 44 yards. Trey McBride had 5 for 43 and a touchdown. And then Zay Jones, 2 for 25. I mean, first and foremost, if you're the Arizona Cardinals, are you concerned? I mean, obviously we're concerned about the health of James Conner, but are you concerned about Trey Benson coming in as a running back? I know we were really high on him on this show. I'm actually very excited to see Trey Benson take over this backfield.
Yeah, I love Trey Benson's his game coming out of Florida State. He was always a foundational type NFL running back.
Yeah,
which is why I had him number 3 on the on my list. Well, to rehash history.
Yeah,
right. I did the A-list All-Stars couple of seasons ago, and he was the number 3 running back.
We loved him
for the show
out of
right?
Florida State.
Yeah, it was
Yep.
Braylon Allen, Blake Corum, Trey Benson, Ray Davis, and Cody Schrader. Cody Schrader. That's what I like to call them. But yeah, those are the 5 running backs. And now you're seeing you see Blake Corum doing work, right?
Yep.
We see Braylon Allen, still adjusting with the Jets.
We're waiting for that moment.
Right.
Yeah.
And it should have been before now, but coaching changes, blah, 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 blah. But Trey Benson, you don't lose a lot.
Yeah.
Right? With James Conner. James Conner is he's kind of like that inspirational, that team leader, that silent, that quiet team leader that everybody knows this dude is the dude, right, on this team. It ain't Kyler Murray, right? It's James Conner. Right. He's the guy that leads the team, and so now Trey Benson, he's got bigger shoes to fill in terms of being able to be the glue guy, right, for the offense, which is what James Conner was.
And the interesting thing about this is, and James Conner for the first couple of games was underperforming. Like if you looked at the numbers for the first 2 games, James Conner was not the guy that we saw last year that was, lighting up the stat sheet.
I got to say this, though. I think the entire Arizona Cardinals offense is underperforming.
I agree with that as well.
Especially Marvin Harrison Jr. and how they just don't get in. I mean, it'd be nice if you actually...
Melvin Harrison Jr.
That's the ball when you're wide open, bro. And we might throw it to you a little bit more.
But at the same time, the entire offense has seemed a little bit clunky.
Yeah, I agree with you. I do think the offense has seemed clunky. Kyler, he's been hitting the high percentage stuff. That's one thing I'll say about Kyler Murray is that he's finding the high percentage throws. He's hitting the high percentage stuff. The guys that are open, that's fine. But when it comes to that big time throw, we have yet to see that big time throw out of Kyler Murray, that big arm, because we know he's got a big arm. So we've just been kind of waiting for it. So, and then
it should have been, and then freaking Harrison dropped him in the end zone. He had it.
Yeah.
I jumped off the couch. I said, touchdown. Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
It was ugly. Meanwhile, for the 49ers, they've got some major issues of their own. First and foremost, defensive end Nick Bosa, he is placed on season-ending IR due to a torn ACL that he suffered in the game.
No!
Yeah, they're going to be without him, season-ending IR. And then also the 49ers, they just came out and said that wide receiver Brandon Ayuk has not had any setbacks in his recovery from last year's season-ending injury, but he remains, quote-unquote, not close to a return. GM John Lynch is saying on KNBR-FM, the Niners previously had a Week 6 return planned for Ayuk, who tore his ACL and MCL last October. John Lynch said, I keep coming back to, there's different levels when you do these ACLs, and Brandon had a fairly significant injury involving a lot of different things in his knee. He's a really gifted athlete. He's a very hard worker. So when you combine that, you tend to come back at a good clip. There's no absolutes on these things. He's got to continue to hit markers, but he's tracking well. He's working hard. We'll continue to do that.
What have I been saying?
Yep.
every injury is not the same. They are not linear. You cannot just say, oh, the guy injured himself in November. Oh, he'll be fine by March.
Yeah.
You know, it does not work that way.
It's not mad.
No, I was just about to say it's not Madden.
Yeah.
These are real people, real lives, a real need, right? And stuff doesn't always happen as fast as you think it might happen or should happen.
Yeah.
I talked to my doctor. You know my doctor, Dr. No Good, Dr. Does You No Good. Yeah, he said the same thing.
Yep. That's just what it is. It's not Madden. And so, I mean, the people have to understand that. Yeah, the Cardinals, man, they dropped to 2-1. The Niners currently leading the NFC West. They're in first place right now. They get an easy schedule to the Niners. They have the easiest schedule in football going into this season. So we'll see how that progresses. They've got a showdown with the Jacksonville Jaguars coming up. Next up, Sunday Night Football. I sat here going, how in the hell is this on Sunday Night Football? The Kansas City Chiefs.
Why would it be?
Exactly.
Right?
It's like, ugh.
Yeah.
The Chiefs, it's either going to go one way. Either it's going to be a bad game or it's going to be a blowout. And this one kind of turned out to be a boring-ass game that was a blowout.
Why would the Giants be selected to be a Sunday night primetime game team?
Against the Chiefs, no less.
Right. Who made this schedule? Why would anybody want to watch this game on Sunday night knowing what we know about the Giants?
And really, knowing what we know about the Chiefs right now.
As we say in the pro wrestling business, who booked this shit?
That's exactly it. The Chiefs go out and beat the Giants 22-9. Russ Wilson, 18 for 32 for 160 yards. He throws 2 interceptions in this game. Tyrone Tracy, he does suffer a shoulder injury in this game. Right now, he did not practice this week, but he did suffer a shoulder injury, which resulted in Cam Scatterbo coming into the game.
Choo-choo!
Yeah, 10 carries for 60 yards and a touchdown. He looked damn good.
Cam.
He also had 6 receptions for 61 yards in this game as well.
Oh, Cam.
Yep.
Cam.
And Ham. What?
Cam's got a bow now.
Darius Slayton, 4 receptions for 30 yards. Wan'Dale Robinson, 1 for 26. Meanwhile, for the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, 22 for 37, 224 yards and a touchdown. Isaiah Pacheco had 10 carries for 45 yards. Just can't seem to get him going. Kareem Hunt, 10 carries for 34 yards and a touchdown. Tyquan Thornton, 5 receptions for 71 and a touchdown.
Again.
Again. Juju Smith-Schuster, 4 receptions for 55. Hollywood Brown, 4 for 42. Travis Kelce, 4 for 26. Just can't get him going. The Chiefs, they pull this one out, 1-2. They dominated this game from basically start to finish. The Giants looked like hell, and because the Giants look like hell, the Giants have officially benched quarterback Russell Wilson after just 3 games. Yeah, exactly. The rookie quarterback, Jackson Dart, who they drafted in the first round, he's set to start versus the Chargers. Brian Daboll said it was my decision to bench Russell Wilson for Jackson Dart. And he said the conversations that I had with these 2 gentlemen are going to remain private, and that's it. So
Hey, I got a question, fam. What took you so long?
Well, here's my thing. Brian Daboll, I'm going to tell you this right now. He never wanted to start Russell Wilson in the first place. He never wanted to. And you could tell from week 1 when he kept inching Jackson Dart out there every now and then for no reason at all. You saw it in the Cowboys game. Russ Wilson was on fire. He's putting Jackson Dart out there. Why? You have no reason to put Jackson Dart out there when Russ Wilson was playing as well as he was playing against the Cowboys last week. And then Russell Wilson got blamed for that loss because he threw the pick. But why the hell jab Jackson Dart out there in the first place? It just didn't make sense. Now he's returning to the guy that he wanted all along, that he wanted to start all along. We knew he wanted to start this guy all along. It's like, why didn't you just fucking start him?
Remember when the draft happened?
Yep.
Who on this show sent the text that read, I bet the Giants draft Jackson Dart?
Probably you.
It was. So we knew, well, at least I knew, from the very beginning, but you also have to see the writing on the wall.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson Jameis Winston, Jackson Dart. You knew Jackson Dart was going to get some time. You knew he was going to play, period. Right? Didn't know when, but you knew he was going to play.
Yeah.
Right? Either when they were in contention or out of contention, you knew he would play. And now that the Giants are pretty much out of contention, right? 0-3 was
It's week 3 and they're out of contention.
it's like a 7% chance that 0-3 teams make the playoffs. It doesn't happen very often.
But you know what this
Rick.
is? You know what this is? This is Brian
Daboll
Daboll
trying
trying
to
to
save
save his
his
own
job.
job. Yep, that's it. That's all it is.
That's it.
He's realized, oh shit, this thing's
Yeah.
way out of control.
Yeah.
Oh shit, I better go and throw Jackson Dart in there. And if the hope to God that's
5, 6,
yeah.
7 wins.
Yep, this is the last opportunity he's got. If
Yeah.
Jackson Dart comes out and
Yeah.
fires off a couple of wins and gets these guys back into it,
Yeah.
then Brian Daboll's job is safe, right? And that's what he's looking at it
And the
as.
GM as well.
Yep, and this is his last opportunity. We had a feeling that this was going to be Brian Daboll's last chance. I mean, his seat's been frying his ass for a while.
Yeah.
Now here we are. He's like, all right, all in. Let's hope this is it.
And if Jackson Dart leads them to 5, 6, 7 wins, well, now there's something that we can build on. for next season. But the problem is Jackson Dart ain't that good.
I don't think he's that good either.
Okay. We'll see.
I mean, I liked the arm strength. I do like the arm. He's got a big arm.
Yeah.
He's got good throwing mechanics, but the
Placement.
exactly. The accuracy's not there.
Not at all.
It wasn't there.
I mean, Malik Neighbors can do wonders, right?
Yep.
He can work some magic with some of the quarterbacks that they had. Tommy DeVito amongst those guys. A good commercial. But I'm just looking at it. I'm going, okay,
We'll see.
we'll see.
If he turns out, we're gonna be. I don't want to wish that the guy does bad, but at the same time, it's like,
I don't see any good.
yeah, I
don't
haven't
see it.
I haven't seen any good either.
Hey, you want to know what the funniest thing about this is? If Jackson Dart ends up falling flat on his face, you know who else you got? You're left with Jameis Winston. Wouldn't it be the comedy act of the year if after Jameis Winston starts a couple games, they actually start winning?
Oh God, it'd be hilarious.
I mean, first of all, they'd be screwing up their draft position, but everybody would be like, "Oh man, put Jameis in there." Malik Neighbors would go 12 for 150.
Well,
Or
if you recall, last year they did just that. They screwed up their draft position, winning pointless ass games at the end of the year.
Herm Edwards would say, "You play to win the game."
Nah,
Hello.
I-
Listen, you know what? Just on the sidebar, I cannot stand when teams, people, they're going to screw up their draft position. They won the game. So who guarantees that because you get the number 1 pick, you're going to be sweet?
yeah,
There's no
I
guarantee.
I get it. But I mean, when you're way out of, when you're sitting there as the Giants, as they were with the number 1 pick, at that time, going into the very last week of the year, you know what I'm saying?
You play to win the game.
It's the last game of the year. It just, like, golly,
I know, but if I'm going to look all these men who have worked tirelessly,
not hard enough apparently.
for months, away from their families for months and putting their bodies on the line, and I'm going to intentionally lose the game, look in the face. I could just for draft capital.
Get your draft capital.
If your scouting, research, and development departments are on their job, you can find talent as the Rams.
Yeah, that's fair. Next up, last but not least, Monday Night Football. The Detroit Lions shocked the world. They beat the Baltimore Ravens 38-30. Man, what a game. Jared Goff, 20 for 28, 202 yards and a touchdown. The big star of the show was the Lions running game. David Montgomery in particular, 12 carries, 151 yards, 2 touchdowns on the day for him. Jahmyr Gibbs, 22 carries for 67 yards. He had a 3.0 average, which wasn't super efficient, but he got in the end zone twice. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 7 receptions for 77 yards and a touchdown. Jamison Williams, 2 for 43. Sam Laporta, 4 for 33. And Jahmyr Gibbs had 5 for 32 through the air. Meanwhile, the Ravens, Lamar Jackson, he goes 21 for 27 for 288 yards, 3 touchdowns on the day. Derrick Henry, 12 carries for 50 yards and a touchdown, and he had a super costly fumble in this one that is just apparently, according to him, had a quote-unquote questioning my faith, is what he said. Mark Andrews, 6 receptions for 91 yards and 2 touchdowns. Rashad Bateman, 5 for 63 and a touchdown. Justice Hill, 3 for 45. Montez Walker, hey, there he is, 1 reception for 34 yards. And Charlie Kolar, 2 for 22. Man, the Ravens, man, they're just this one was baffling to me. There was a few things. First of all, before we continue this, the Lions left tackle Taylor Decker, he does have a shoulder injury. He did not practice so far this week. Also linebacker Derek Barnes, he's got a knee injury. And Al-Qadim, I don't know how to pronounce his name, Al-Qadim. He went out. He had a hell of a game versus the Ravens, but he had a knee injury. Both those guys, Barnes and Muhammad, were both limited in practice. As for the Ravens, defensive tackle Namdi Matabuki, he's got a neck injury. Kyle Van Noy with a hamstring injury. Ronnie Stanley with an ankle injury. All 3 of those guys did not play last week, and all 3 of those guys are listed as questionable. They have not practiced this week so far. So here we go. The Lions, they ran all over them. I mean,
they sure did.
Yep.
And here's the thing. I remember. You know what? Hey, let's just lay out. You and I just lay out for a second. Alex.
I sent something in the group text, and I thought about it, and I'm standing by it. As a Lions fan, I look at this game, and this is a signature win for the Detroit Lions because it's hard enough to go on the road and win. It's even harder to go to Baltimore and win, especially since all the games previous on the road, the Baltimore Ravens have always had the Detroit Lions number. And the box score doesn't tell 100% of the story. There were a couple of garbage time touchdowns. The turning point was when Derrick Henry fumbled the ball. And not just him fumbling the ball, but the fact that he walked back to the sideline, tried to slam his helmet on the warming sticks that they have, and he slipped and he fell. So I mean, a little brief ha-ha moment, but it shook up the team. Like the team just did not seem to know how to respond to this defensive onslaught. And the real star of the game was the Detroit Lions defense, a defense that we as Lions fans have constantly said is in constant need of tuning. We keep talking about, oh my God, somebody's got to sit across from Aiden Hutchinson. We need corners. We need defensive players. We still don't have a Lee McNeil, the run stuffing tackle, but, Al-Qadim Muhammad had a very critical tackle late in the game where it looked like Lamar was going to take off running like he always does. But this Detroit Lions team sacked Lamar Jackson 7 times. Yeah. When was the last time you ever heard of Lamar Jackson, an MVP in this league, multiple-time AFC championship participant? Which, okay, I mean, we go back to that argument, but how many times have you ever heard Lamar Jackson getting sacked 7 times? That's not happened. And now credit must be, facts must also be presented. The Ravens were missing quite a few key defensive starters. And the same guys are questionable for this week. So if you take a look at this this Chiefs game, the Kansas City Chiefs they're going to Arrowhead. And for the first time, you have 2 teams that are 1-2, and they were Super Bowl contenders. Yeah. It were and probably could still be, especially if the Ravens get their guys back. But here's the deal. You are basically playing to determine who has hope and who's going to suffer. I would have never thought in 100 years that 1 and 2 teams would be playing, and they're the Chiefs and the Ravens. And without Kyle Van Noy, without I forgot what his other name was, and Abike, without Metabike, and without Ronnie Stanley, the left tackle, blind spot. This is a recipe for potential disaster with the Baltimore Ravens. And, we talk about, Jared Goff doing Jared Goff things, and, J-Mo getting wide open, Amon-Ra doing Amon-Ra things, and David Montgomery, he had one of his carries was a 70-yard bomb. And obviously he got chased down because he's not the fastest guy in the world. But nonetheless, I mean, it was incredible to watch. I mean, the offensive line from week 1 to week 3 are 2 completely different entities. So I'm sitting here going, and every fan in Detroit, myself included, I was like, we chalked up the L. And what do the Lions do? They prove us wrong. And they prove that, with this win, most Lions fans are coming together and saying, we got a chance to take it all.
Now, one thing I will say.
Well said, Alex.
First and foremost, the defensive coordinator, and I watched the All-22. I wanted to peek at the All-22 about what happened here. The defensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions, I'm going to give him a ton of credit.
Calvin Shepard.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And I'm going to give him a ton of credit.
Wait a minute.
And here's why I'm going to give him a ton of credit. First and foremost, Muhammad, coming off the edge there, he had a really good game against Roger Rosengart, who's a really, really good pass defender. So he had himself a hell of a game. Kudos to him. But one thing that I want to point out that Kelvin Shepard did, and I was watching that All-22, he adopted, and this isn't just me tooting my own horn and tooting the Viking horn here, for the Gala horn, if you will, but the Yalla horn or whatever, however you pronounce it, okay? But this is just pointing out, Kelvin Shepard kicked into a 6-1 defense, which is a Brian Flores special. It was incredible to watch the amount of blitz that they were bringing. And then at a lot of these plays, the Lions were bringing blitz, and they were just bringing one more man that the Ravens had on the line. It was funny to watch. You're like, well, they're just standing there counting. Oh, they got 6 on the line. We're bringing 7. Oh, they got 5 on the line. We're bringing 6. And that's what they did all game long. It was amazing, the looks. They brought pressure. They understand. I think Kelvin Shepard kind of understands the deficiencies that the Lions have at the corner position, and he's bringing this 6-1 defense. And what he's doing is he's making up for the lack of corner talent with guys like Terrion Arnold with pressure, and it's working. And that's what Brian Flores has been doing for the Vikings for a couple of years as well.
I will say this. Aaron Glenn did that all last season, right? So Kelvin Shepard, who had been on the Lions staff, he's just continuing what Aaron Glenn had kind of done, but putting his own twist on it.
Yep.
And Brian Flores is one of the best defensive coordinators in the league. And if what you're saying is factual, why not, use a little bit of this, a little bit of that?
Yeah.
Using what we already do well and tweak it, block it, and make sure that we can, take advantage of some of these situations. I have never seen in all my years, I have never seen Lamar Jackson as frustrated as he was on Monday night. I mean, there were a few passes on third downs where he was throwing it to no one.
Yeah, missing guys completely.
Just completely missed him and the Lions had him frustrated. Never saw Derrick Henry that frustrated. Mm-hmm. John Harbaugh, he had a look on his face that I hadn't seen.
Yeah.
And you talk about Dan Campbell. Let me tell you something about Dan Campbell. Oh, boy. This dude been coaching 5 years. How long has John Harbaugh been coaching?
Almost 20. Yeah, almost
right?
20.
2 Super Bowl appearances and wins, right?
He won one.
Won one and a couple of appearances. This dude Dan Campbell know how to coach. He coached his ass off. The Detroit Lions lost 8 coaches and / coordinators in the offseason. And what did he do? He just reloaded. And now they look like a team that you have to take seriously every single week.
Much more seriously than we saw in week 1.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Let me tell you about something about week 1. Week 1 was Matt LaFleur continued to be pissed off from last season when the Detroit Lions went for it that second game they played on every single 4th down, and they kept getting them. Even at the end of the game, Jared Goff stumbled and got it to David Montgomery. They still salted the game away with a 4th and 2. And man, that burned Matt LaFleur. I know it did. You know what I mean? I don't know him, haven't talked to him, but I can tell.
Matt
burned, and they came out with a vengeance to make sure that they beat the Lions that first week. And they did. Here's the thing about the Lions, though. They still moved the ball. Right? They just couldn't quite convert in the red zone. And, it just overtook them. And I was afraid a little bit, even though I picked them to win this one. I was the only one. I was afeared that they would have let that Chicago Bears victory get to their heads a little bit. And, and it's not a 1-game season, right? And they would have overlooked the Baltimore Ravens. So not overlooked, but just maybe gotten too happy and fat and sassy off of the victory and didn't focus completely on the Ravens. And I was dead wrong. I'm glad I was.
Now the Ravens, one thing I will say offensively for the Lions in this game, the Lions, this is good coaching because, and the reason I'm going to say this is good coaching,
man, I'm so proud of
the reason I'm going to say this is good coaching is hang on. From a couple of years ago, we were talking about week 1 against the Saints or against the Chiefs, right? Week 1 against the Chiefs, they ran all over the Chiefs. And I asked the question, and if you recall the question,
who didn't play?
Chris Jones wasn't there, right? Okay. And but what did they do every single time? They ran that ball directly where Mike Dana was, right where he was, and ran his ass over. Matabike wasn't on the field, and what did they do? They ran that ball right up the A gap every single freaking time. That big run by Montgomery, A gap. They made sure they pounded that rock. That's why David Montgomery had 170 yards, some stupid 151 yards in this game and 2 touchdowns. And you look at where he was running the ball specifically. It wasn't the outside. You'd see Jahmyr Gibbs was trying to get on the outside, and he was getting swallowed up by a lot of those outside linebackers. One of those touchdowns he had was a garbage time touchdown. But if you're talking about David,
it wasn't.
Oh yeah, right at the end there.
No,
all they needed was the first down.
You're talking about David Montgomery's the late touchdown. You're talking about that.
Oh, but David Montgomery, 12 carries, 151 yards, and a 12.6 average, and he was pounding the ball up the gut whenever he got the ball, and he was very, very, very successful on those runs. The Ravens had no answer because they didn't have, not only did they not have Matabike, but they didn't have one of their best run stoppers out there in Kyle Van Noy, who's a stud. Kyle Van Noy knows how to run stop. So now we're sitting here, you see David Montgomery. I'm not going to say the Lions were wrong. I'm not going to say, they did the right thing.
Because
and that's what
you're going to do.
Yeah, you exploit the weakness. And that's exactly what they did in this situation. Now, if Matabike is on the field, does David Montgomery have the same effect? Probably not. But you exploit the weakness, and you go out and you get the victory by exploiting the weakness. That's just good coaching right there all around.
And you have to figure Kyle Van Noy has played for the Lions before. So he would be familiar with some of their schemes, might be.
I want to hug. I almost want to hug.
But I said the same thing about the Chiefs game.
I almost want to hug.
I said the same thing about the Chiefs game.
And that's good coaching.
Yeah.
Right. Because if they would have thrown the ball all over the yard, you'd be like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Matabike's missing. Kyle Van Noy's missing. Yeah. Run the ball. Right.
Yeah. And but I said the same thing about the Chiefs game. It's not that it's wrong.
Right.
It's just pointing out like, okay, there was a deficiency here. You exploited the weak spot. Good for you. That's what you're supposed to do. It's football. You're competitive. Yeah. It's like a chess match. But at the same time, let's just point out, Matabike's there. Do you think David Montgomery's having that same? I don't know
Probably
about all
not. I will say this. I do have to bring this up. There are a lot of questionable plays in the red zone that the Baltimore Ravens choked on. You know, okay, so Lamar Jackson's like, you know, passing the ball off to Derrick Henry, and it looked like that the idea was to throw it back to Lamar so he could run it into the end zone. But Derrick Henry stopped halfway through his thing and just threw a floater, you know, over the receiver, and it was almost an interception.
Yep.
You know,
The stupidest thing that Baltimore did, I think they were trying to be cute,
Mhm.
right? And trying to outline, let's do something kind of funky and try to outline the line. Because, you know, the Lions have been known in the last few seasons of these trick plays and,
Yeah.
you know, little gimmicky, but it worked. And here's one question I got to ask about the Baltimore Ravens. Why? On that, was it a 2-point? No, it wasn't a 2-point convert. The touchdown that Gibbs had,
Mhm.
where St. Brown was lined up as the yup back. Remember?
Oh, yeah, he throws it across
and
the field like that.
and he pitched it, and St. Brown pitched it to Gibbs.
Yeah.
To the other. I'm thinking, why would Baltimore think that Amon-Ra St. Brown, who's lined up as the up back, is going to get the football and run up the middle?
Right. Stupid.
Why would
Stupid.
they think that? And they caught him with their pants down.
They bid on it.
Yeah, what a stupid defensive call, thinking that they were going to do. Why?
Yeah. Why?
Anyway,
Silly.
yeah.
fantastic game by the Lions, though. Fantastic coaching job.
Yep. And also, before we finish this up, those are our scores, by the way, for week 3. The Lions advance to 2-1. Ravens fall to 1-2. The Commanders, quarterback Jaden Daniels, he could potentially play in week 4 versus the Falcons after suffering his knee injury in week 2 that kept him out of the week 3 matchup. He says it's up to the doctors, so we'll see if Jaden Daniels winds up playing this week. Also, the Bills defensive tackle Ed Oliver and outside linebacker Matt Milano. Oliver has an ankle injury. Milano has a pectoral injury. Neither of them did practice this week. And also, last but not least in news, around Cleveland, the Ohio Department of Transportation has approved a permit for the construction of the Browns' new $2.4 billion dome stadium. So the Browns, man, they're probably heading to a dome.
Why?
Yeah, I know. It defeats the purpose of playing in the cold in Cleveland, but I digress.
Let me ask you this. What to justify
A new stadium or a dome.
Come
Now, before we jump into the NFL 100 stuff, let's go ahead and real quick, because this game is getting ready to get underway. Seattle Seahawks, Arizona Cardinals. I'm going to go ahead and go with the Seahawks here.
You know, I am going to give Meowvin Harrison and Kyler Murray one more chance. I'm going to go with the Arizona Cardinals because it's a division game. They're at home, and division games hit different. But, you don't have James Conner. You got Trey Benson now. So it's time to see what Trey Benson's made of. And Marvin, you need to do something, or, we're going to start calling you a bust. And we don't like the words first-round draft pick and bust in the same sentence, but it's happened before. And you're a legacy list player, young man. Your dad is a Hall of Famer. It's time to put on the big boy shoes.
Boots, Seattle or Arizona?
Oh man, we fly high.
There you go.
Seattle for both birds. You bet.
Yeah, it's all hit. So it's like caw. Yeah. So now jumping into our NFL top 100, Alex, what number are we on?
We are at number 46.
46 of the NFL top 100, and who would that be?
Yep, ranking in at number 46, we have Will Anderson Jr., defensive end for the Houston Texans. He was not ranked in the top 100 last year, and the stats speak for themselves. In 14 games, he had 37 tackles, 16 tackles for a loss, 11 sacks, a forced fumble, and a fumble recovery. And according to NFL Pro Insight, Will Anderson converted 19% of his total pressures, 58, into sacks, 11, last season. nearly doubling his sack conversion rate from his rookie season in 2023, which was 10.9%.
Yeah, Will Anderson. I think we talked about Will Anderson last show. We talked about the monumental trade. I think we're down one further with our number 45, which is Trent Williams. Trent Williams, buddy.
Yes, sir.
He only played 10 games last year. He was out. The passing of his child. Our hearts go out to Trent Williams in that. But he had a lingering ankle injury that, he had 11 straight Pro Bowls before that. I mean, the guy's incredible. He's still, at his age, one of the oldest players in the NFL. He's one of the best left tackles in all of football. He allowed an average time of pressure of 3.78 seconds last season. It's the longest among left tackles, with his 25 pressures allowed per NFL Pro Insight. He allowed pressure on 7.6% of his pass blocking snaps, 10th lowest among left tackles, and with at least 200 pass blocking snaps. He's one of the best of the best. Boots. I mean, Trent Williams. Yeah, that's it. Simple. Very easy. Number 44, Mike Williams. He played 14.
No, not Mike Williams. Mike Evans.
Mike Evans, rather. I don't like. Mike Evans played 14 games last year, broke 1,000 yards in spite of missing, in spite of missing time. Though his team made sure that he'd get over that 1,000-yard mark so that he would wind up getting the bonus. Despite missing weeks 8 to 10 with a hamstring injury, Mike Evans still hauled in 6 touchdowns against man coverage, tied for the 5th most in the league since 2018. Devontae Adams is the only player in the NFL with more touchdown receptions against man coverage than Mike Evans. I mean, Mike Evans, I think we're talking again, first ballot Hall of Famer. Am I wrong here, Boots?
Absolutely not. This guy is an absolute stud, consistent 1,000-yard receiver. We really hope that he heals from his quadricep injury because, either was it a quad injury? I mean, I know he had a
hamstring.
Hammy. Yeah, that's equally as bad. I mean, we always preach availability and reliability here. And while Mike Evans hasn't always been available, he has certainly been reliable. So that's the difference between a good NFL player and a great NFL player.
Yep, one of the best. And when he got drafted, he was behind. I forget who he was behind. Vincent Jackson over there in Tampa. He wound up being a star over there, even with Vincent Jackson over there. So, I mean, there's that. Number 43, guy we loved. I was ecstatic about this guy until he went to the Eagles. Jalen Carter at 43. Played 16 games last year, 42 tackles, 12 tackle for losses, 4.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. He finished second in the AP Defensive Rookie of the Year voting in his rookie year. Per Pro Insight, Jalen Carter played 79.5 of the Eagles' defensive snaps this last season, the second highest playtime rate at his position league-wide, despite sitting out in Week 18. He's a monster. He's a pass-rushing monster. He destroys people when he's out there. I mean, when he's not spitting on people, he's one of the best in football. Boots, you were excited about Jalen Carter coming out of college here. What say you?
Yep. Not coming through real clearly there, Boots. I apologize.
You hate Jalen Carter, I can tell. You don't sound enthused about him at all.
Well, he's definitely a big boy, Georgia dog, and again, we always keep saying around here, the Eagles, the rich get richer, and when they drafted him, they knew what they were drafting for, they got him for at least 5 years on that rookie deal. So, he's just going to continue to tear it up and be a terrifying presence on that defensive front.
Yeah, absolutely. Number 42, Deion Dawkins, the offensive tackle for the Buffalo Bills. Another one of the best in football. He had played 959 snaps last season. 22 quarterback pressures allowed, only 3 sacks allowed all year. Look, according to Pro Insight, Deion Dawkins aligned with the widest average split of 1.97 yards from the guard in 2024 of any tackle in the season dating back to 2016. His kick step is incredible. His mirroring is incredible. The Bills, I mean, it's no wonder Josh Allen is always upright all the time because you have a guy like Dawkins out there. It's incredible seeing a guy like Deion Dawkins play as well as he has on the edge for as long as he has. This is another one. He's one of the best. Him and Trent Williams, man. Amazing.
Just a handful of tackles on the 100 list.
Yep, not many. Number 41, one of my favorites. It's one of Boots' favorites, too. He was so mad that this guy won the Rookie of the Year. Puka Nacua is sitting at 41. He had 11 games, and even though he missed time, he still had 79 receptions for 990 yards. He had three touchdowns on the year. But per Pro Insight, Nacua, from his return in Week 8 to the end of the regular season, Puka Nacua led all wide receivers with a target rate of 39.8% with a minimum of 150 routes. He's one of the best receivers in football, hands down. I love the fact that he's playing for the Rams. Him and Matt Stafford have such a rapport. They've had a rapport since he got there. I mean, really from the moment he stepped onto the field, Puka Nacua was a beast. And here we are, him sitting in the NFL top 100 at 41. I think this is about right for him, by the way. I think this is about the right spot for him, given the fact that he missed the time last year. But if he didn't miss time, we're probably talking about him as a top 20 guy, don't you think?
Probably. Brad Holmes wanted him in Detroit.
Yeah. Well, he got Isaac Tesla, so I'm sure he's feeling pretty good about that. That kid's actually quite good over there. But that's these five for the NFL Top 100. Let's jump into our final spot of the day. Let's jump in to our predictions.
Spoilers.
Yep, we're going to start out Week 4 in the NFL. Fellas, are you ready?
Let's do it.
Here are predictions for Week 4 in the NFL, starting out with the Seahawks and the Cardinals. We already talked about the Seahawks, so we're going to jump into the Vikings and the Steelers. They're in Ireland. Steelers are technically the home team, but I have a feeling that the Vikings are going to be getting a lot of cheers here. They always do in Europe. I don't think the Steelers have been playing as well as they normally would. Go ahead and give me the Vikings.
Yeah, I tend to agree here. I think the Vikings defense is going to once again be the star of this contest. And Carson Wentz, give him all the credit he is. He's a veteran presence out there. He'll have what it takes to keep the offense, humming. But this is a bit of a test for Minnesota, because that Steelers defense is quite stingy.
Boots.
Some people win, some people lose. Some always crying the blues. Yeah.
The Steelers, golly.
I mean, Boots loves him some Steelers. I mean, I don't fault you for the pick.
Yeah, you love Mike Tomlin. You just love that guy.
I love him too. He's a tremendous head coach. One of my favorites.
Yep. Next up, Commanders and the Falcons. I'm going to go ahead and take the Commanders here. I think the Falcons are going to be playing pissed, but I think Jaden Daniels is going to come back from the injury. He's going to be just fine. He's going to tear them up. Give me the Commanders.
Yeah, the 30-0 game against the Panthers was a fluke. It was an embarrassing fluke. But, at the end of the day, give me the Commanders. We have questions about this Falcons defense. They held Minnesota to 6 points in Sunday Night Football in Week 2, but I think we could probably start to attest that to J.J. McCarthy's awful play, at least for that game. The kid has a chance to improve upon himself. But going back to this, I just don't see the Falcons, pulling this one out. Give me the Commanders.
Boots.
Some people win, some people lose. Some always being misused.
Yep.
Yeah.
Give me the Falcons.
Falcons, really? Really? Wow.
Although he does have a point about misused.
Next up, Chargers and the Giants. I think this is a no-brainer. Give me the Chargers.
1, 2, 3, Chargers.
Yeah, I don't think that was any question. Next up, we got the Titans and the Texans. I think the Texans get their first win of the year here. I think the Titans have been struggling. The Texans have been struggling, but the Titans don't. It's like this one is that, to use that Alex term, it's the toothless lion and the dead zebra. Yeah, that's kind of where we're at here. Give me the Texans.
Somebody's got to win, and I got to tell you, I don't like Tennessee's chances, and it's Houston at home. Give me the Texans.
Boots.
Yeah, no way you lose this game. Give me Houston.
Yeah, I
You just
agree with
can't.
you. They can't. You can't lose this game. Next up, let's go ahead and talk about the Eagles and the Bucks. The Buccaneers always give the Eagles a hard time. It's gonna be a little-
This will be the most exciting game of the first rack of games on Sunday.
Yeah, there could be, a little comeback type of action here that goes on. Baker Mayfield's a gamer. You can never count the Bucks out right now. They're in that zone where you just can't count them out. Give me the Eagles, though. I'm going to say the Eagles are going to wind up pulling another one here.
Yeah, as much as I want to say that the Buccaneers might pull the upset, I'll put this game on a tush push. Give me the Eagles, but it's going to be close.
Yeah, I'm gonna take it.
Yeah. You don't what you
We
like
fly high, call.
you like the tush push?
No, I like the bretheren show. I think with Baker Mayfield, the injury, the offensive line issues, I think the match will run out.
Yeah.
Give me the
That's where I'm at. Next up, we got Panthers and Patriots. Give me the Patriots here. The Panthers, they're riding high, but I think the Patriots are going to bring it back to earth.
Not so fast, my friend. And now I'm not saying that the Panthers are world beaters, because again, 30-0, it was a fluke. However, as Terry Foster would say, I've got a feeling that, they'll ride high. As you said, they're riding high on this victory. And we will see. It depends on if the Carolina defense can really force Drake May into making mistakes and force the Patriots into turning the ball over, because that's how, they lost to the Steelers 21-14. So I'm going to go with the Carolina Panthers for an upset. But this could go either way.
Yep. Boots.
give me the
Patriots
Patriots.
for the Bootleg Bettor. Next up, let's talk about the Saints and the Bills. Can we just say this?
1, 2, 3, Bills.
Yeah, it's all Bills. It's not even a question.
But we body body.
Yep. Well,
We ride it right.
and I think we can do the same thing for the next one between the Browns and the Lions. 1,
1, 2, 3, Lions. Although
Scotty, I know you didn't pick the Lions.
I am picking the Lions.
hang on a second, though. I will say this: the Browns' defense is not not a group of people to be trifled with. It's not going to be as obvious as you think, but Detroit's going to figure out a way to beat this team.
Well, and the other thing is that the Browns don't have the offensive firepower.
They do not.
What any team is doing right now. No. So I'm assuming everybody's going with the Lions here.
That is correct.
You already know.
Yeah. Next up, Jaguars and 49ers. The Niners, they're kind of they've been figuring it out. They have one of the easiest schedules in football. I think the Jags have been struggling. They got the 17-10 win last week, so they got that first win. It's kind of And the 49ers, they just are trying to maintain that lead in that division. Give me the Niners.
It's an East Coast team traveling west for a 4:05 kick. So it's going to be 1 o'clock in the Bay Area. And, I'm going to go ahead and give it, pick the 49ers. Although, I would not be surprised if the Jaguars pulled off, the victory here.
Boots. Really? Wow. Wow. Let me see here. So next up, it's Colts and Rams. It's actually, this one's a little tougher than it would normally be, given the current circumstances and the current climate of things. I'm going to go ahead and roll with the Rams, but man, does this one make me uncomfortable?
Yeah, definitely a hard game to gauge because, on the one hand, we're all waiting for the other shoe to drop, and this could be one of the games where it happens. That said, give me the Indianapolis Colts. I really think that Indiana Jones truly earns that moniker this week.
Yep. Boots.
I think you find him in a archaeological dig in the Rams.
There you go. Next up, Bears and Raiders. I think Pete Carroll is an old-ass retread coach that isn't getting it done. Go ahead and give me the Bears.
Yeah, I mean this will be a good bounce back game for the Bears. Somebody's going 2-2, somebody's going 1-3. But yeah, the Chicago Bears have the better offense and the better defense. So give me the Bears.
Yep. Oops. Ooh. Carroll that much? Oh boy. Next up, Ravens and Chiefs. This one's interesting. I feel like the Ravens are pissed. I feel like the Chiefs are kind of inept right now. Give me the Ravens.
Yeah, this one's also a tough game. If you would have told me that, hey, these teams are going to be 1-2 when they meet, we would have been like, shut up. No, your eyes do not deceive. Your eyes do not deceive you, universe. That this is a 1-2 team. Somebody has to go to 2-2. Somebody has to go to 1-3. And really, it is all hands on deck in Baltimore. Whoever loses this game, their fan base is going to be mashing the panic button. But something? Give me the Chiefs because it's at Arrowhead.
Wow. Boots.
I'm just a nobody trying to tell everybody about somebody that can save everybody.
Give me the Chiefs. Ooh. I'm the cheese that stands alone. Next up, the Packers and the Cowboys. I think this is Packers all day. I think that Cowboys defense is just bad right now. I'm going with the Packers here.
Sunday Night Football just got a lot more interesting because Micah Parsons comes back home and he's going to be licking his chops and hoping to sack Dak Prescott multiple times. Give me the Packers and a rider. Micah Parsons sacks Dak Prescott at least twice.
Boots.
Hey, what? Don't mess with Texas.
Yeah, give me the Packers. Next up, Jets and Dolphins. Look, this one is kind of a turd sandwich meets the giant douche, but at the same time, I'm kind of really feeling the Jets if Justin Fields comes back, and I'm kind of feeling the Jets even without Justin Fields in this situation. To be honest, I don't think the Dolphins are that good. I don't think the Jets are that good, but I think they're good enough to beat the Dolphins with Justin Fields. Give me the Jets.
Yeah, this is going to be bowling shoe. I mean, it's bowling shoe ugly on paper, but the Jets have the better defense by and far, and defense wins you championships. I mean, I don't know about the New York Jets, but give me the Jets anyway.
Boots.
All on the Jets.
Jets. Man. And last but not least, the Bengals and the Broncos. This is a no-brainer to me. Give me the Broncos.
1, 2, 3, Broncos.
Yeah, that one's about all she wrote. A lot of one-sided games this week, I've noticed, by the way. And those are our predictions.
Spoilers.
For in the NFL. And folks, that's our show. Also, by the way, currently in our predictions right now, I'm currently leading the pack 34-14-0. Boots is 27-21-0, and Alex is in second at 29-19-0. So, Boots, you got a little catching up to do.
Some people win, some people lose. Some always be in the shoes.
And in Boots' case, he's singing the blues. He's singing the blues because he's losing. But, folks, that's our show. Before we get out of here, we want to give a couple shout-outs. First of all, It's Your Time Massage. Amanda's a wonderful massage therapist. She's the absolute best in the Metro Detroit area. If you want to get a massage, check out iytmassage.com, or you can find her on Facebook at It's Your Time Massage LLC. Amanda, she does Swedish massages, deep tissue massages. She does CBD oil. She does red light therapy. She does foot sugar scrubs. You name it. She takes good care of you over here at It's Your Time Massage. She's the best of the best at what she does. Check it out, iytmassage.com, or you can find her at It's Your Time Massage LLC on Facebook. And remember, folks, it's your time.
She rubbed alcohol and it turned into water.
Yeah. Next up, let's talk about Face Kicked Apparel. Sean Stockmeyer, his wonderful wife Lisa, doing awesome stuff at facekickedapparel.com. If you want all your custom hats, hoodies, and t-shirts, you name it, you pick it, they stick it over at facekickedapparel.com. And folks, Boots, as per the norm.
Get your face kicked in with saving.
Absolutely. Also, let's talk about Patch Miracle Photography. Andrew Langland, his wife Chantel, they are awesome. They're the best photographers in the Metro Detroit area. If you're looking for any birthday pictures,
What?
wedding photos,
What?
baby pictures,
What?
engagement pictures,
What?
newborn pictures,
What?
first birthday pictures.
What?
If you're looking to do that special sexy boudoir shoot for that special someone in your life.
Bing, bing, bong, bong, bing, bing, bing.
I don't know if that was sexy at all, but go ahead, Boots.
Hey, babe. Turn over.
Turn over.
Oh my God. Check out patchmiraclephotography.com. They made me look like a movie star on my wedding night.
That's right, Danny Trejo.
Oh man,
Oh,
he's a
they're
badass though. I'll give you that.
unreal. Their pictures are high quality. They're the best pictures you can find, and they take good care of you. They help you out on your special moments, and they make your special moments even more special. So check them out, patchmiraclephotography.com, or you can find them on Facebook at Patch Miracle Photography LLC. And check them out. Also, let's go ahead and talk about some of our streamers out here. Alex, you got some stuff going on.
Yes, sir. You know, Steel Twins Gaming, is large and in charge. Just check out the little emblem up here. We're doing the voice acting. We're doing the Nostalgic Mondays, the Legend of Zelda Tuesdays, the Super Mario Fridays. We're just about wrapping up Super Mario Brothership. And we'll definitely have some more ideas for you. And Ghost Trick Phantom Detective is starting to get real juicy. And we're looking to do those on either Saturday or Sunday night. Follow us on Facebook for updates. And we are also on Twitch and YouTube. On YouTube, that's where you can find all of our previous episodes. We call them the archives. And if you look at the screen in front of you, I'm not the only streamer around here. Who else we got in our little family?
We got the artist formerly known as Big Willie Dubs Gaming, now known as No Shot Bot TTV. Will's doing great stuff on his channel over there. Very exciting. The first-person shooter stuff is like his bread and butter, but he's also got other stuff going on in those streams, whether it's eating dirty jelly beans or, going out and having the Hot Ones challenge, which, Alex, you and I have done, and it is, wow.
It's brutal.
Yeah, what an experience. My stomach wasn't the same for like 3 days.
Oof.
But, the whole stream is very entertaining stuff. Will puts a lot of effort into it. Check it out. No Shot Bot TTV, or you can find him on the TikTok.
the TikTok.
Yep, that's my old man moment for the day.
He also has merch, kids.
Oh, yeah, he does have merch out right now as well. That is true.
Yep, and for all you nerds out there listening to this show, Steel Twins Gaming and No Shop TTV will be traveling to San Diego, California in the second week of October for TwitchCon. So, yeah, we're really excited for that adventure as well.
Yeah, TwitchCon's a great time for you guys. I know you guys go out there and have a blast out there in San Diego.
I hope you get that fit.
And then last but not least, Boots, let's talk about books.
Well, remember when video games used to come with instruction booklets?
Yes.
Right? We actually have to read through the whole thing and you figure out, okay, this is how we get to the next level. This is
how you beat this thing.
This thing. This is what shows you how much life you've got.
Yeah.
All these instructions, but where's the instruction booklets anymore?
Right? What about one for life?
What about one for life is right? This book, I Ate Cookies Out of Trash, it's not a booklet. It is a real book. It is a book full of wisdom. It is a book full of heart. It's a book full of truth, honesty, integrity. This is a book written by Tammy Pruitt, one of the greatest authors I have ever read. Top to bottom, front to back, especially anyway. This was a fantastic book that I read front to back. That's what I'm talking about, Scotty. That front to back. Come on, man.
Yeah,
Let's
sure.
have some integrity on the show. This is a wonderful book that you need to buy, and you can't just walk into a store to buy this thing. You got to go online. You got to type your little fingers off to go to BarnesandNoble.com, AmazonBooks.com. Or Amazon.com. You can go to AppleBooks.com.
Yep.
All the .coms. Just put in your little search engine, whether it's Firefox, Google Chrome, whatever you want to do.
Internet Explorer?
There you go. Netscape.
Right.
Netscape. Oh, that's taking me back. Prodigy.
You go on Netscape
You're
anymore?
reaching on Netscape.
Man. Well, go on Yahoo. Go on Yahoo. Just type it in your search engine. And what about Jeeves?
Yeah, we're asking Jeeves?
Can you ask Jeeves about this one?
I don't know.
Well, if you're asking me, this is one of the best books that you should be reading. I Ate Cookies Out of the Trash. Just go to the search engine. I Ate Cookies Out of the Trash. Buy it. Then they just ship it right on to your house. And you can just get right off the couch. And after you get done playing some Steel Twins gaming stuff, you can go right to the front door, open that door. The book will be right there. Close the door because you don't want nobody else coming into your house. And you unwrap the package. You get yourself a nice cup of tea, and you read I Ate Cookies Out of the Trash and help it, and let it help you enrich your life.
Absolutely. It's an awesome book. It reads like a conversation.
But not a boring one.
Yeah, it's a great book. Check it out. I Ate Cookies Out of the Trash by Tammy Pruitt. And folks, that's our show. Thank you so much for listening. We got week 4 incoming. We've got week 3 in the books. It's going to be a very entertaining week. Football starts at 9:30 in the morning on Sunday. Woo. Thanks, NFL. But I'm going to be watching football from 9:30 in the morning all the way until like 11 o'clock at night.
11 o'clock?
Yeah.
Praise be. Praise be.
Yeah, yeah.
That's right. Speaking of, can I say something?
Absolutely.
You know, a lot of people out here have it worse than you do. If you're listening to this podcast, it requires certain advances in technology to listen to, right?
Yeah.
Online, on your phone. There's a lot of things that you have, especially if you're listening to this, that a lot of people don't.
Yep.
Right? You have a beat up ass car, Ford Festiva, 1992. I don't even know if they still make it. It's got rust spots.
I'd have to see if they still made those.
Right? It's damn near missing the door. Matter of fact, 3 of the doors are red, 1's blue. Right? The passenger side window don't roll all the way up.
Yep.
You heard me?
Mm-hmm.
This is a ugly hoopty. But it's your ugly hoopty, and you driving it. And when you drive that ugly ass hoopty, you know what you drive by? You drive people that are walking. People that don't have that. And they look at your car and they say, damn, that's an ugly ass car. But I wish I had one.
Yep.
Right? Because they're walking. There's always someone who has it worse than you do. So be thankful on this Thursday. Be thankful for what you have, because there are people out there not. Believe me. Just watch the news, but not too much of it, right? So I'm going to pray for those people. I'm going to pray for you to Bootleg Bettor. So,
Thanks so much for listening, and for the Bootleg Bettor, for Alex, Steele, and myself, folks. We appreciate you tuning in, and all the folks that have been tuning in. I've been seeing a lot of 3 figures popping up, so I appreciate that. So thank you so much for listening. We will see you next time right here on the Outside Blitz.
you're probably talking about us. We're the only thing to talk about.
Ciao.